Orbit 3 team of flight controllers is still on console, being led by Flight Director Anthony Varia. Teams in Mission Control continue to monitor Shane, Megan, Aki, and Tomas' flight home and are playing a few key roles with Dragon's return trip and recovery. Monitoring the path of Dragon, on the lookout for any conjunctions or chances of space debris, is our Topo, or Trajectory Operations and Planning Officer. We also have a representative from NASA's Flight Operations Directorate on console to serve as an information clearinghouse for all NASA personnel supporting splashdown and providing input should any changes to return need to take place. There's also the Spaceflight Meteorology Group actively providing weather data to the joint NASA and SpaceX teams as we keep a close eye on conditions to make sure they're clear for a safe splashdown today. And finally, our landing support officer is on standby in the event we run into any major issues that would cause Dragon to end up at an unsupported splashdown location. From there, we would call up support from our Department of Defense colleagues. Meanwhile, back on the International Space Station, the three-person crew of NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei and Roscosmos cosmonauts Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov are in their sleep period after a busy day preparing for Crew 2 departure. The crew is in a brief indirect handover period as they await the arrival of Crew 3, scheduled to launch later this week on Wednesday. When NASA astronauts Raja Chari, Tom Marshburn, and Kayla Barron, as well as European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, arrived at the station, the population on board will increase back up to 7. For now, it's great to see Crew 2 seated up and that those leak checks all checked out smoothly. All continues to move along and we're approaching splashdown. The next big milestone we're moving toward is the departure phase burn, scheduled for 8:09 Central Time. We're looking forward to seeing Shane, Megan, Aki, and Tomas return back to Earth and splash down off the coast of Pensacola later this evening. In the meantime, we'll continue to monitor here from Mission Control Houston, and for now, I'll send it back over to Hawthorne.
All right, so we are following along, Sandra. That's a great to see you doing the same. So we'll be looking forward to that departure phase burn here very shortly. So as you mentioned, there's a lot that's going to happen after that departure phase burn. It's a very short firing of the. It's a combination of the forward bulkhead Dracos as well as a service section Dracos. And right now we're roughly co-elliptic with the International Space Station. That means through any orbit there are apogees and perigees where there's a slight fluctuation in really the altitude of the International Space Station as it orbits the Earth. Right now, Dragon is pretty much matching that. That's what co-elliptic means. Once we have this departure phase burn, it's going to go out into a different plane, and it will be not co-elliptic anymore with the International Space Station, and that's because we need to hit our target. And that target right now is the prime landing site of Pensacola, Florida. It won't be too long after that departure phase burn. Well, we'll have a couple of dynamic things before that deorbit burn. First is the separation of the trunk itself. The trunk, there is a claw that holds the trunk in place, and the trunk itself will physically separate from the Dragon, exposing the heat shield. When that maneuver takes place, the Dragon itself will actually slew over to the side, and the Dragon will almost eject the trunk over on a different plane. So it won't be following the Dragon. It'll go kind of its own way just to make sure that it has a very nice long distance between the two objects and they don't have any chance of colliding. Then it will slew back into a position with the forward bulkhead Dracos, essentially in line with the V-bar, the velocity bar, to execute that 16.5-minute supercritical burn, the deorbit burn. That is using the forward bulkhead Dracos. There are 4 of them that are exposed by the open nose cone, and once that fires, it's going to be 16.5 minutes and slows the Dragon down just enough. It's still going pretty fast, pretty much 17,500 miles an hour because it's still in orbital velocity, but it's just low enough. It's just in a low enough altitude where it captures some of the atmosphere. So the Dragon itself, after that burn, will close its nose cone, switch its orientation with the heat shield facing down, and then begins the entry phase.
Yes, the jettisoning the trunk does a couple of things. Again, it exposes the heat shield, which is super important to make sure that the vehicle and the crew inside are protected, but it also sheds a lot of mass as well, several thousand pounds. Again, it makes the job of the parachutes much, much easier to slow down the vehicle after we have, after we're roughly 350 miles an hour. We'll deploy the drogue chutes. That will take the vehicle down to about 120 miles an hour. The main chutes will come out, and then we'll have a nice soft landing off the coast of Pensacola.
That's right. And after that landing, the recovery ships are already deployed. They're heading out to about the approximate landing zone. And as well as we've just heard that the helicopters, there are 2 helicopters that are flying out, and they are going to be landing on the drone ships and taking some of the recovery team with them. There's a lot of seats on board, so you have medical doctors. We have some of the management personnel, everyone that's really been gearing up to support the recovery operations. They'll be landing on that recovery ship. In this case, go
SpaceX for Deorbit burn brief. Please report when ready to copy.
We'll stand by.
SpaceX, we are ready to copy.
Okay, Shane, there are a few deltas to the timeline. Sequence start is 0231. Burn start 0239. Duration of 16 minutes 25 seconds. Blackout start 0319. Blackout end 0326. No change to splashdown time per displays 0333. How copy?
Okay, copy 0231 and 0239 for the burn and the blackouts. 319 to 326 for the blackouts, 333 splashdown.
Good readback. The vehicle is healthy. We're tracking no issues for deorbit entry and landing. Just a friendly reminder that there is no change to the antenna driver situation that we briefed you a couple days ago. The recovery team is go. The personnel are on site and staged, ready to support. And weather is also go. Winds are currently at 5 knots, wave height less than 1 foot, period of 3 seconds. And the video from the recovery vessel shows it's basically a lake out there. How copy?
Copy all, and that is the way we like it. Thanks for the great news.
All right, so we just heard that briefing, a little bit of a change in some of the times that we're looking at. So it looks like the deorbit burn will start a little bit earlier, as well as the blackout period. That's the time really where the plasma starts building up as the Dragon itself goes through the atmosphere and slows down quite a bit from 17,000 miles an hour to about 350 miles per hour. So that'll be a very critical time. All of those times shifting just a little bit, and so it looks like it's going to happen a little bit earlier. Splashdown time, though, looks pretty good, and the weather, Andy, looks spectacular.
Yeah, we did hear some great updates from the Corps. He basically said it looks like a lake out there, which means that the sea states are very calm, which is great for splashdown and the recovery team to get in there and do what they need to do. So things, again, I've said this a couple times already, but everything's looking great. The downhill phase has been excellent so far.
Fantastic. Now, again, once the Dragon splashes down in those lake-like calm waters with wind speeds at 5 knots, all spectacular news to hear about the weather as we're heading towards that prime landing site. It's going to be less than an hour from the time that Dragon actually splashes down to the time that the capsule itself is recovered from the water. Almost immediately after splashdown, the fast boats start going towards the vehicle. They have to maintain a distance of around 3 nautical miles away just to make sure it's safe and clear, so there's no interference. But after the fast boats get over there, they'll start outfitting the Dragon with essentially rigging it with some equipment to get ready to pull onto the recovery ship, the Go Navigator, using the A-frame and some of the rigs that they have on board to pull that on board to the Dragon nest. They'll also do a quick sniff check to make sure that there are no any hazardous chemicals that are on the outside of the vehicle to allow the crew to get a little bit closer. The crew themselves are still in their suits at this time, so they're okay, but they just want to make sure everything's okay before they actually hoist Endeavour onto the Go Navigator. This will be the second time that Endeavour has splashed down into the ocean and is recovered by the recovery teams. So we're looking at about less than an hour, and then from there, we'll finally see the hatches open on the side hatch, and the crew will egress or exit from the vehicle, stepping foot not quite on planet Earth yet, right on the recovery ship, but they'll get at least their land legs situated before they're taken to medical facilities for quick examinations, and then it's not too long after that until they're flown ashore.
Yeah, that side hatch has remained closed since the crew got in April of this year. So that is the hatch that they ingressed in, and now that's going to be the hatch that they egress out of. And so when they are docked to the International Space Station, they use the forward hatch to enter and exit the Dragon. There are a lot of things that will, like you mentioned, Gary, that are going to happen after splashdown. It is a nighttime splashdown, so there's going to be boats with spotlights out there, and most of them are going to be shining on the Dragon capsule. The rigger actually comes in on a jet ski and will physically climb on top of the Dragon, hook up all of the hardware necessary, again, to hoist the Dragon to the back of the recovery boat, puts it on what is known as the nest. And we'll see all views of that. So again, very dynamic events coming up, super exciting. Again, we are just under 2 hours away from splashdown of the Dragon capsule and the Crew 2 folks inside.
I should note that we did get confirmation that the WB-57, which is a high-altitude aircraft, has taken off, wheels up. So this high-altitude aircraft is en route to essentially watch the entry phase. This particular WB-57 is rigged up with imagery tracking equipment, so we'll be able to get infrared views. These will likely be the first views that we'll get from planet Earth, camera views that are live streamed down to us, and we'll patch them through as part of this coverage to show the Crew Dragon entering the Earth's atmosphere. And we might even see a little bit of the plasma itself. We'll see it'll really come in through the infrared cameras as a bright light, but we'll see some of those first view from that high altitude aircraft.
So we are, again, about 20 minutes away from the departure phasing burn, the second to last burn for the vehicle today. We are still taking some social media questions. So if you are interested in and have some questions, use the hashtag AskNASA. We will try to answer as much as we can on air. We have one here from Kyle Perry.
And good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome here to the launch pad. You've been listening into the live mission control feed from Hawthorne with SpaceX. Want to jump on to our official startup of the stream here. If you're just joining us, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the host here at the launch pad. You're joining us for our live coverage of SpaceX Crew 2's return to Earth. We are less than an hour away from that expected deorbit burn and splashdown, less than 2 hours away. The timeline moving up just a little bit here this evening, but everything progressing well. 2 major final burns expected in the next little bit here, the phase burn and the deorbit burn, and we're going to keep listening into the raw mission control feed so you can hear that up-to-date information. But as always, Here at the launch pad, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow. We believe explorers can be both here on Earth and up in space, and we believe space is better together. So we invite you to join our community by engaging that subscribe button, hitting the like button on this stream as well. It's a free way of helping the stream do a little bit better, and so YouTube knows that, hey, other people might be interested. As always, here at the Launchpad, we want to know where you're tuning in from. We know people are absolutely all over the world tuning into these live streams. So we invite you to let us know in the chat. We'll give you a welcome here. If you are a friend joining us over on Facebook or Twitch, welcome. Join us over here on YouTube, youtube.com/thelaunchpad. Subscribe. We go live for Facebook for launches and landings, but our full news coverage, where we do Starbase coverage, interviews, space news updates, and everything, are exclusively right here on the Launchpad Network on YouTube. Super excited to have me and Ben here tonight for our live coverage of Crew 2, but we want to listen in to Mission Control. They're answering just a few questions from Ask NASA. They answered one of ours earlier, giving us an update on the Deorbit situation. And we are thrilled to have you all here with us this evening. We got John in Tampa Bay, Florida, Vincent in Washington, we got Bob in Ontario, we got Marcus down in Florida, we've got Solar in New Mexico, Bridget is in Louisiana, Tyler, hello from Vancouver, Canada. Great to have you all here with us. Take a moment, share out the broadcast, let people know that we are live. We are going to be live until splashdown and following, answer your guys' live comments and questions on the tracker. We've got our live feed tracking where the International Space Station is. That's going to be given our best guess. There is no live trackers of Dragon itself, just as a security thing, but we'll be very nearby to the International Space Station all the way until its deorbit burn, and at that point we'll just go back full screen for that final position as we await for splashdown. First crewed mission to return back to Earth since Inspiration 4. This crew left in advance of Inspiration 4, so they're excited to get home. Crew 3 expected to launch in just a couple of days. November 10th currently is the target liftoff time, so we hope you will join us for that as well. But if you're just joining us, welcome here to the Launchpad. You're watching our full coverage of the return of Crew 2 from the International Space Station. If you have a question, we would love to answer it for you. Send it into the chat. Just tag us at the Launchpad. That'll make sure that we are able to see that question and get to it as we can. If you want to jump the queue and be next in line, take a moment, send it in as a super chat, and you will be the next question that we answer. But we're going to turn the Mission Control audio back on. We are going to resume our live commentary closer to the deorbit burn. If you were with us early this morning for hatch closure and undocking, thanks so much for being here, as well as for joining us just moments ago for the launch of JAXA stream. But we are back here for Crew 2 for re-entry and splashdown. So great to have you here with us. Let's listen back into Mission Control as we count down towards that phase burn, the last of 2 burns to bring the crew home.
Astronauts, we have views once again inside of the Dragon, so we're overlooking the shoulders of Commander Shane Kimbrough on the left and Megan McArthur, the pilot, was on the right-hand side. So we should be able to get more views here as we connect to the ground stations and are able to send that video link through.
If you want to be an engineer, you can even work on the floor of SpaceX, and with that loud beeping, they're still working here. There's no breaks. There's a lot of engineering to do.
Yes, as Kate mentioned earlier, we are in a active production environment, so things are always happening. So hence the beeping and the forklifts behind us. Yeah, things continue to go smooth. For those just joining, we are in the middle of the Crew 2 return. We just saw a view of Mission Control Hawthorne. Now we're again seeing views inside the cabin of the Dragon spacecraft with the Crew 2 aboard. They have donned their spacesuits, the leak checks have been done, and we are gearing up for the departure phasing burn in a couple of minutes here.
So that's going to come up after the top of the hour. We're coming up on 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we are providing continuous coverage. And, of course, we're going to cover some of these more dynamic phases. If you are watching on YouTube, we're going to take a moment to switch the links. And so take a look in the description for where that new link is if you want to continue watching. And then if you're watching on NASA TV, you'll notice no change. Just keep watching.
Yeah, so sit tight and enjoy some space tunes and some cool views from space, and we're going to make the swap real quick.
And if you're watching on our feed, don't go anywhere, because we've already taken our break and resumed our feed here for our evening coverage. Great to have you all here. We've got people absolutely all over the world joining in the chat. We're so grateful that you're here. If you're new, take a moment, engage the subscribe button. Crazy goal, 8,800 subscribers before Splashdown. I think we can do it. We got Niall from the UK. Great to see you. We got Joshua from Paris. We've got Lizzie from Lancaster. Great to see you, Lizzie. Sam, we love Ben. Caleb's from Colorado. Morton in Norway. John in Gulfport. Erwin in the Netherlands. Waggle the Great in Malaysia. Sam's in the UK. Philip in Luxembourg. Joshua's on Neptune. Great internet connection there. How's the delay? But great to have you all here. Tim is in Tucson. Glad to have you all here tonight for the return of Crew 2. We were expecting to see Crew 3 launch first. Crew 2 has been on orbit for 199 days. They've now entered their 200th day. When they actually splash down, they'll be 7 hours short of their 200th day. So they're on their 199th orbit or day now, just short of that 200 number, but that's okay. I'm sure they're eager to get home. Unfortunately, due to delays due to weather and then crew illness, Crew 3 has been delayed about 6 times already, and at this point, they had to get Crew 2 home because Crew Dragons are only able to stay on orbit for 210 days. Because of this, obviously, they only had a 10-day window to get Crew 2 home now, and because they don't want to risk the weather, they have to have quite a sequence to undock and get ready to do a re-entry burn. But the weather could change, and then Crew Dragon can float for up to 3 days. They have enough food for that. So they want to make sure that they had a good window to get this crew home safe and sound and not have to push Dragon. So that's what they're doing, bringing Crew 2 home first. Crew 3 will launch in a couple of days. 2 Russian cosmonauts, 1 NASA astronaut on board the International Space Station currently. Taking care of the station, the quietest station has been in over a year and a bit. So I'm sure they're getting a little bit of rest there in their sleep period currently. This crew had a little bit of a nap time during the 360-degree orbit they did around the ISS and a little bit of a break here this afternoon. And now we're getting ready to come home for the first time in 199 days. Lots of people joining in, already 1,000 viewers. Great to have you all here. If you're just joining us, take a moment, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes and engage that subscribe button. If we can get to 9,000 likes tonight, we'll do a giveaway and a promo on our shop. But let's see if we can do that. Hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. 7 saying they should take them to Burger King when they get back. That's a great question. Joshua saying buy him a Coke. Let us know in the chat, what would be the first thing you want when you get back from a long 6-month stay aboard the International Space Station? Let us know in the chat what's the first thing you'd want to eat and first thing you'd want to drink. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to, of course, keep patching in Mission Control, listening in as they prepare to bring the crew home. So stay with us.
It means that we are very likely going to head towards that deorbit burn here coming up not too long from now.
Yeah, and we heard about 30 minutes ago that weather, sea states also looked great, and that definitely was taken into account before giving the go. So yeah, the astronauts, I'm sure, are ready to go home, and on screen right now we have a view of them looking at their display monitors. Again, they have access to a lot of information of the vehicle that they can use and refer to for re-entry.
So you see the display is looking at the ground track. They have a full map of the Earth, and they're looking at their relative position as they orbit the Earth, which is at this time still co-elliptic with the International Space Station. We'll be getting to that point very shortly where we line up with the prime landing site. Flanking on each of the screens that were on both of the sides, each respective of the commander and the pilot was an outlay of where the Draco thrusters were. So they are able to see the Draco thrusters firing, making sure that they're doing their job with that 42-second burn that's coming up here in just about 12 minutes.
After the departure phasing burn, we have one more burn left. You mentioned it. It's the 16-minute deorbit burn. And then Dragon, once it enters the Earth's atmosphere, there's going to be a communication blackout period for about 7 minutes. What that means is the crew in Dragon cannot communicate to the ground, and the ground cannot communicate to Dragon. There is some interference from the plasma that's built up around the exterior of Dragon, but at this point, the Dragon vehicle itself is really piloting itself. It knows exactly where it's at and knows exactly where it wants to go. So it will continue to steer the crew towards the primary landing site while we, again, go through that period of high plasma and get to the other side, and we can get comms up again.
After we have an acquisition of signal on the other side of that entry, we'll be able to hear some of the first words from the crew as they are inside the atmosphere of planet Earth. The deployment of parachutes will happen relatively quickly. What's scheduled right now is the drogue parachutes to deploy. That will take roughly 8 seconds, and then about 40 seconds after that, the drogue parachutes will be released and the 4 main parachutes will be deployed. That sequence slows the vehicle down from roughly 350 miles per hour to about 15 miles per hour. Nice and gentle, so the crew, when they land in the ocean, is a nice soft landing.
And this here is the view of Mission Control Hawthorne. Teams here are continuing to support the crew to return. And again, a few minutes away from that departure phasing burn.
The teams here handed over to a new shift. There was a shift of flight controllers that looked over the undocking phase as well as the fly around and the exit of the approach ellipsoid, all of which was under joint operations with the teams over in Mission Control Houston. And then in between that, they handed over to a new shift. These flight controllers are overseeing the phase of flight that we're in right now, which is coming up to be, like as we're saying, Andy, is a very critical time with the phase burn. We're going to be separating the Dragon trunk, committing to a deorbit burn and landing off the coast of Florida. Again, we heard a go for deorbit burn entry and landing. That means that the vehicle is healthy, the crew is prepared, the recovery teams are in position, and the weather out in Pensacola, Florida is cooperating. This is one of the reasons why we are doing this indirect handover, is for this moment. The Crew 2 astronauts undocked before the Crew 3 astronauts launched to the International Space Station, primarily because the weather that was predicted for tonight's landing was predicted to be very, very favorable. And we're hearing reports that that is true, that the sea states are very calm. The wind speeds are also calm, not exceeding 5 knots. The recovery teams are already out there, and we're aiming for our prime splashdown location off of the coast of Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, the Core described it as lake-like, which
right.
is about the best thing you can hear if you're an astronaut coming home. There are a couple things that they look at. So the wave height is important, as well as the period of the waves, or how often the waves are crashing. So again, green on all accounts, really, in terms of sea state and weather, which is great and excellent news.
So we're just about 8 minutes away from that departure phase burn. It's not too long of a burn, about 42 seconds.
On screen right now is the view inside the cabin. The arm, or the hand at the middle of your screen, that is Thomas Pesquet's hand of the European Space Agency. You can see that on his, I believe that's his left thigh, there's a tablet. That is where all of their procedures and instructions and manuals that they can refer to, it's all housed there. And so we heard the core and the crew talking to each other about certain procedures and steps. They're referring to that inside their tablets to make sure that, again, all of the things that need to be done and all of the procedures that need to be accounted for, they're all done when they need to be
This
done.
view is spectacular right now, just beyond where you see Commander Sheen Kimbrough and pilot Megan McArthur. Just beyond the pilot, you can see two patches that are two stickers that are on the walls of the inside of the Dragon cabin. That is the patches for the Demo 2 mission as well as the Crew 2 mission. This vehicle being a reflown vehicle. It flew Bob and Doug just a year and a half ago as part of the Demo 2 mission. That was the first mission inside Dragon with crew aboard. Just the two astronauts were part of that test mission, stayed on board for roughly 2 months before returning, verifying that Endeavour and the operations needed for crews returning to space from American soil was go. And here we are, about to return crew from the International Space Station aboard Crew Dragon Endeavour for the second time.
And here's a great picture. We aren't able to really see their faces with the views that we currently have, but from left to right, Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency. We have, he is the mission specialist, Megan McArthur, who is the pilot, Shane Kimbrough, the commander of the mission, and then Akihiko Hoshide, who is also another mission specialist. These are the four members that are currently on the spacecraft that is returning home in just a few hours.
In the same order that they're sitting. You can see from left to right, the order is the same. Flanking both sides of the middle is Thomas Pesquet on the left. You can see on the bottom left corner of your screen, he's mission specialist for this mission. He also commanded the International Space Station for just a little bit at the beginning of Expedition 66. Right before departing the International Space Station, he handed over command of the International Space Station to Roscosmos cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov. Shkaplerov will remain the commander of the International Space Station for quite some time before he departs and Expedition 67 begins. So that will be about 5 or 6 months from now before that crew, MS-19, departs from the International Space Station, Shkaplerov being commander for that entire period. Right before Shkaplerov departs, he'll hand over command of station to NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn, who is scheduled to launch from Pad 39A here in just about 2 days. We were getting very lucky with some of those views from inside Dragon. We'll see them periodically as we are able to see them. As the Dragon orbits the Earth, it catches various ground stations that are able to provide high bandwidth communications and provide that in-cabin video. You can see the crew. Really, the Dragon is flying itself. So they are just monitoring. They are looking at the different thrusters. They're looking at their trajectory. They're looking at the time because each of these maneuvers are executed at very precise periods. About 4 minutes from now is when we're anticipated to execute the departure phase burn. So they're just standing by, waiting for that period. You can see the reason that they're suited up is to give plenty of margin, plenty of space between the time that they suited up and some of the more dynamic phases of flight. The suits are not required for the entire journey from the International Space Station down to planet Earth. In fact, we even saw they had a period where they doffed or took off their suits. They had a little bit of time to have a crew meal. They had some fluid loading, really just drinking a lot of water in preparation for the 4Gs that they're about to experience. Before they had to put their suits back on again. The suits are required for primarily 2 different phases of flights. First is undocking, and the second being the re-entry phase.
Gary, we are less than an hour and a half away. The crew to get home from the International Space Station, it's going to take about 8 hours. After they undocked, there was a fly around of the International Space Station, did a full 360 fly around, taking pictures of the International Space Station before going through all of the departure burns to slowly move the Dragon vehicle away from the International Space Station and to get it closer and closer to Earth. So they are well into their journey and towards the end here, and we're just under 90 minutes.
That's right. So 2 minutes to go. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've seen so far. They undocked right on time at 11:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, backing away to about 220 meters. And then, as you said, Andy performed a full fly around of the International Space Station. It was Thomas Pesquet's job to take a digital camera, point it towards the International Space Station, and photograph the exterior. This was to allow photographs and of visuals of the outside that are not normally seen. We have cameras on the outside of the station. The robotic arm is able to survey some areas of the station, but it can't quite get everything. So this was the first exterior survey that we've had since 2018 when the Soyuz did a fly around. After that, we executed a series of departure burns. There were 5 that were planned, departure burns 0, 1, 2, and 3, as well as a departure phase burn, which is coming up here in about a minute and a half. There was another burn that we introduced called the out-of-plane burn. This was also a prop dump burn, so it served a couple of purposes. One, using the forward bulkhead Dracos fired for about 3 minutes and adjusted the course of the International Space Station, also dumped a lot of fuel, which is essential to minimize the weight as we enter into the re-entry phase of flight.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We're waiting for that phase burn to occur. The last burn before the deorbit burn in about 15-20 minutes from now. Great to see so many new people joining in. Take a moment, let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Also, make sure to engage that like and subscribe button. It helps us out. 1,700 people watching, only 300 likes.
They are seated.
Let's try to get to that 1,000 like mark before the deorbit burn. And let's see, can we hit 9K subscribers tonight? I think we can. Engage that subscribe button. It really helps us out. It's free to go. If we can, we're going to do a giveaway here tonight if we can hit 9K. But great to have you all here. That phase burn now should be underway here, helping maneuver the Dragon away from the International Space Station. They're on a slightly different inclination there in advance of the full deorbit burn, which will be a 16-minute burn as well. We're going to be patching in Ben here as well to join me for our live commentary. So we'd love to hear from you. What questions you have, you can send us in your questions in the chat. We'll be answering those live. Just tag us at the launch pad, and we will be answering those live through this coast phase and deorbit phase as we get ready to welcome Crew 2 back home after 199 days on orbit. Do a really quick comm check here.
Am I here?
And we are here. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Absolutely. It's good to be back. I was just here about an hour ago. We just finished up our Japan launch and we're back, and let's see some re-entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Crew 2 finally on their way home. Seems like it just kept getting delayed and delayed. But we're finally getting to see them come home, and hopefully Crew 3 launching in a couple of days.
It's going to be an awesome week, and this is a great way to start it off.
Absolutely. You're just joining us, though. Welcome here to the launch pad. Ben and Zach here, bringing you live commentary of tonight's Crew 2 Return to Earth. We're answering your guys' question live, so send those in the chat. Just tag us at the launch pad, and we'll be answering those for you live here. Expecting the deorbit burn to occur in about 20 to 30 minutes from now, followed by that splashdown, currently targeting 10:33 p.m. Eastern Time here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. This is crewed launches are always, or crewed events are always slightly more, a little bit more edge of your seat and a little bit more exciting than unmanned stuff. I mean, we love to see it all, don't we? But it's always exciting to see people up there. So what are we seeing here?
Including the departure phase burn, as well as the trunk separation and deorbit burn. Right when the crew enters into the atmosphere, the seats will actuate. They'll get into a slightly different position. Right now, this position being good for monitoring the displays and having access to them, but the seats will rotate once they start getting into the parachute deployment to brace them for landing. It'll be slightly more upright, not exactly perfectly upright, but just slightly more upright to allow them to take the loads of that 15-mile-an-hour splashdown.
So after this departure phasing burn, the next event that's going to happen is we're going to be separating the claw, then jettisoning the trunk. So the claw is essentially an umbilical that connects the trunk to the capsule of the Dragon. So we saw earlier there was a graphic. The trunk is essentially the bottom half of the vehicle. It's unpressurized, and the crew sits in the capsule. So the claw needs to be disconnected, essentially. That way the trunk can be jettisoned. After we jettison the trunk, the Dragon vehicle is running exclusively on battery power. That means that everything, the displays that we just saw, everything is internal to the capsule itself. So it's sort of like its own microenvironment for the astronauts to safely return home.
I see lots of people asking about where can we see tonight's re-entry. Can I see it in Florida? Can I see it in California? For tonight, it will be coming over straight through the south of the Gulf of Mexico. If we pull this out here, we'll see if you guys can get a visual for a moment or not. Yeah, you can see that yellow line coming up through the Gulf of Mexico. Be a little bit more clear. There we go. That yellow line's going to shift over a little bit more on that live tracker. So it's going to be coming straight from the south. So if you are in Mexico, you may have the ability to see Crew Dragon as it returns. If you are in California, very unlikely, if not impossible. Florida, same thing. If you're along the Gulf Coast, they are currently targeting the splashdown zone of Pensacola. So if you are anywhere along the coastline near Pensacola, Florida, we've heard reports from local meteorologists that it's supposed to be a incredibly clear night tonight down there. You should be able to see some of that plasma, possibly, or maybe shoots. It is a night landing, and of course there's not any big spotlights or anything on this. But if not, stick with us here. We'll have those live views. The last time they brought it down in the evening, we had some nice views of it as well from the boats. So we're excited to have that here tonight. But unfortunately, not something we're going to be seeing coming over Florida. Double sonic boom will still occur, but it'll happen over the Gulf. So a little less likely to be heard by everyone. If you're just joining us, though, take a moment. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Make sure you engage that like and subscribe button. Glad to have Ben here with us as well, helping with the chat as I continue to fight the battle of this infection after taking you guys for inspiration for 5 weeks in. We're still fighting it, but finally feeling a bit better. So appreciate your guys' support and bearing with me as I sound a little bit different, but we're coming up about 20-25 minutes away from that deorbit burn here this evening. Lots of people in New Orleans, crazy clear weather. Yeah, hopefully you guys will have a good view tonight. Definitely some people along that coastline should have a great view here this evening.
And if anybody does get any cool pictures, make sure to send them over on the Discord because I want to have a look. So yeah, send them over. And also, upside the Zach being sick, you get to listen to my sexy voice. So everything is an upside.
Man. You can take your pick, which you want to hear. I mean, I could go ASMR if that would be better.
Don't make this into a fight.
Sagar says, flush that nose. Oh, I have so many times you don't even want to know. But we're glad to have you all here with us, watching all over the world. We got Brad from Conwood, Alabama. We got Rembrandt in Toronto. Augustine in Argentina. Russ in Lower Alabama. Excited to see Crew 2 come home. Glad to have you all here with us. We're going to patch back into Mission Control audio. Keep listening in there as we await for the deorbit burn, which is when that occurs. 16-minute burn confirms Crew 2 has to come home. There is no canceling that out and going back up for another round. They deorbit burn. They are coming home tonight. So let's listen back into Mission Control.
Splashes down to outfit it, to do a sniff check, making sure there's no hazardous gases that are leaking from the vehicle, and make sure it's very safe to bring aboard, because we have a lot of recovery personnel on board the Go Navigator. There are 2 helicopters that were deployed from shore not too long ago and are making their way out to the recovery vessel. There's a helipad that's on board these recovery vessels, and so they'll drop a lot of the recovery personnel off and head back over to shore. It'll be some time that the teams will be there to be able to take the crew off. There's medical personnel there. There's representatives from different organizations. We have European Space Agency. We have the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, NASA, and then, of course, SpaceX personnel all going out to support this landing.
And we are targeting under an hour after splashdown to get the Dragon vehicle hoisted up on the recovery boat and the astronauts out. It is a nighttime recovery, right, and we've done several of these already, and it really doesn't seem to slow down the recovery operations team. We have spotlights. There's a thermal camera that can spot Dragon when it's coming back down. So they have all the necessary tools to, again, quickly and safely recover the crew from the water.
That's right. There's a WB-57 aircraft, too. Forgot to mention that. That has been deployed. Did hear confirmation of that. Wheels up. So WB-57 is on its way out to circle the landing site. That WB-57 is a high-altitude aircraft with very specialized imaging equipment that's able to point at and track the entry of the Crew Dragon as it comes through the Earth's atmosphere, getting some initial data for the recovery teams. Very critical.
That ain't nothing.
So it'll continue to track that. It'll likely be the first images that we get from planet Earth of the crew returning back.
We talked about Dragon jettisoning the trunk. The trunk sheds a ton of mass, a couple thousand pounds actually. The Dragon vehicle itself is also quite massive in that sense. When it splashes down, it's actually waterproof and it can float. So there really is no risk of water getting into the capsule. There are actually bladders effectively where water can be pumped into these bladders to make sure that Dragon is upright. So for those just joining, you're watching live coverage of the return of NASA's Crew 2 mission. The Dragon vehicle Endeavour has departed the International Space Station at 11:05 a.m. Pacific time, or 19:05 GMT, with NASA astronauts Shane Kimbrough and Megan McArthur, JAXA astronaut Aki Hoshide, and ESA astronaut Thomas Pesquet heading home back here on Earth.
Following departure, Dragon did its first ever fly-around of the International Space Station and then underwent a sequence of departure burns. Since then, the crew has enjoyed one meal aboard the spacecraft, and, of course, they got suited up, which you're seeing from some of the views on board now.
In this next phase of the mission is when things really get exciting, Gary. Dragon has a series of steps to complete before returning Shane, Megan, Aki, and Thomas home. First, Dragon will maneuver to the correct attitude and then jettison its trunk, which is, again, the cylindrical, unpressurized part of the spacecraft. The trunk is currently connected to the aft or bottom section of the Dragon capsule, where the heat shield is located. So in order to expose that heat shield and get the vehicle ready for atmospheric re-entry, we'll jettison the trunk.
From there, the spacecraft will use its forward thrusters to perform a deorbit burn, which will put Dragon on a trajectory to return to Earth. It really commits them to do so. That burn will last about 16.5 minutes once it starts.
And to prepare these upcoming events, right now the Dragon capsule is doing a couple of things autonomously. It'll start to isolate the thermal control systems, fluid and thermal control system fluid loops from the radiator. This system is what will help keep the internal temperatures of Dragon temperate for Shane, Shane, Megan, Aki, and Thomas during re-entry. Dragon is also initiating separation of the claw mechanism. Again, that's going to terminate data, power, and fluid connections between the capsule and the trunk.
So we're waiting for the next series of steps. First, of course, will be the slewing to separate the trunk. There will be a claw separation, and the trunk itself will jettison. And, of course, we'll enter into the deorbit burn. We're monitoring to see if there will be a departure phase burn. I know we're past the point where we were tracking that, but we did introduce, and we didn't talk about this, was an out-of-plane burn. And it was also a prop dump burn. It fired the forward bulkhead Dracos for about 3 minutes. And so the teams here are analyzing the phasing, and it looks like we'll make sure that there is not that departure phase burn, but we may be heading right into the deorbit burn here very shortly.
Yeah, so we are expecting that slew, or again, the maneuvering to jettison the trunk. We'll start that in about 8 minutes here, and then the claw separation is expected just past 6:30.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the Launchpad. Wow, over 2,100 people watching. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Launchpad for our live coverage of Crew 2 and the Deorbit burn, bringing them home after 199 days in orbit. Ben and I are here giving you full live commentary as they come down here tonight, so continue sending in your questions in the chat. Tag us at the Launchpad. We'll be patching in mission control on and off, and you can see a live tracker roughly where Crew Dragon is, just slightly behind the International Space Station as they prepare to come home here this evening. If you have questions, send those in, but if you're new, take a moment, engage the like and subscribe button. If we hit 9K subscribers tonight, we're going to do a giveaway of all of you in the chat here. So we'll see if we can hit that. Take a moment, share out the broadcast. But how excited are you, Ben, getting close to that deorbit burn here?
Oh yeah, it's getting real exciting, and I think we're going to break some records here tonight. Is this a record on viewers?
Oh, we got to get a little bit more. We were at like 25 before.
Okay. Well, I think we can do it. We still haven't gotten to the action yet, so yeah, I'm excited though. It looks like we're gonna have some good coverage tonight, have a good time, and looks like we're gonna have a lot of people here to experience it with us. So
absolutely,
let's get it going.
Dominic, will we see it in Texas? If you're near the Pensacola, Florida, Texas, Gulf of Mexico beaches, you might be able to see it off in the distance. South Carolina, unfortunately, no, you won't be able to see it from there. It will be coming straight up the Gulf of Mexico. You can actually see on the center of your screen there that last orbit coming straight up the Gulf. If you are in central Mexico, you may have a viewing of it there. The Texas coastline, you may be able to see it on the very far horizon, but we'll take a look. I just want to listen in, make sure we're not missing some comms here. Doesn't sound like it.
Nope,
but,
just some awesome music.
We'll keep an eye on that to patch them in if we hear anything coming up. Catherine, thanks for covering, liked, and subscribed. Glad you found the channel. Thanks so much, Catherine. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are here. Airman, I came here because NASA doesn't let me chat in their streams. They don't let anyone chat in their streams. But we love having you guys here, chatting it up in the storm and answering questions. Be glad to answer those here for you. If you are new, also let us know where you're watching from. Glad to welcome you here in the chat. Can we see it from Saskatchewan? Only if something goes very wrong, Shayla.
I was gonna say.
I hope not.
Only if there's something very, very wrong. Yeah, probably not.
Orlando, Florida, gonna be pretty difficult. I don't believe so. You're gonna be too far off. Air Command Rockets, thank you so much. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you so much for that super chat there. Appreciate the support. I believe that's Australian dollars last time I looked. So thank you so much.
There you go. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Alrighty, so
And we're going to, boom, do that one rapid button that makes everything nicer and prettier in the chat.
oh, beautiful.
There we go. We got Austin, Texas joining us. We got Middle and Georgia. I'm on Pensacola Beach. Will I see it? Chris, we've heard that the weather is clear there. What is it like for you? Tag us with your response at the launch pad so we make sure that we see it. But we heard that you should be able to see it, Chris, looking straight out to the south across there. If you get any pictures, send them to us on Discord or Twitter. We'd love to share those out for you here.
I gotta quickly give out a shout out to any of my Pennsylvania people out there. I'm from Pennsylvania, so see if we got anybody else from Pennsylvania out there in the chat. And I must say, I'm a tiny bit jealous. I'm not down in Florida or one of those areas where I can see more of this stuff. But, you know, it's all right. We're chilling up here. You know the feeling, Zach.
Oh, yeah. I'm as far away you can get away from rocket launches, unfortunately. But, Lenora, will there be a sonic boom? Yes, there will be a sonic boom this evening. But it'll happen over the Gulf of Mexico, so most people won't be able to hear it.
All right, so we are continuing to track the return of Crew 2 and the astronauts back to planet Earth. We just heard we are just moments away from entering the deorbit sequence. We did a quick fact check on some of the burns that we've been monitoring throughout today's flight as we've been providing continuous coverage, and we did get confirmation that that departure phase burn, which we have discussed, takes the Dragon out of the co-elliptic phasing that is really matching the International Space Station with both the perigee and apogee, and puts it on a course with that landing site, which is Pensacola, Florida. That did happen, so we do have confirmation that all of the phasing burns, the departure burns that are necessary to line Dragon up for the deorbit sequence, which we're hearing is about to take place here momentarily, that we are all lined up. All of the burns have taken place. Dragon is in a good phase, a good position to get ready for this next sequence of very critical events.
And what that means is we have just one more burn left, the deorbit burn.
Right.
A couple of things need to happen, again, before we start this. In about 3 minutes, we'll begin to maneuver or slew the Dragon to the appropriate attitude in order to prep for claw separation and then trunk separation. Mm-hmm. After that, we'll slew back. The four forward bulkhead thrusters underneath the nose cone will fire for about 16 and a half minutes. That will be what slows down Dragon and brings its altitude down enough to start to hit some of the atmospheric particles of Earth. And then from there, we'll start to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, enter that blackout period for about 7 minutes where there's just plasma being built up around the exterior of Dragon. So we'll lose communications for about 7 minutes. After that, we'll regain communications. We have parachute deploys. We have two sets. First up is the drogue chutes that will take the Dragon capsule velocity from about 350 miles per hour to 120 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. From there, the main chutes will deploy, taking us from 120 miles an hour down to about 15 for a nice soft landing off the Gulf of Mexico.
So that is going to kick off here very shortly. We're coming up on just about an hour from the predicted splashdown time. We did hear there were slight adjustments in some of the sequence, and that sequence, the deorbit sequence itself, about to begin here momentarily, starting with the claw separation and trunk separation, but that'll kick off. Once that sequence starts, it's about an hour timeline from the time that sequence starts to the time that we are in the water. We're still targeting 7:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so again, everything that we just talked about is going to happen in that hour. So,
right.
We saw the crew enjoy their meal. They donned their spacesuits once again, and they really had a bit of a respite before these very dynamic portions of the operation. So things will definitely get exciting here in the next couple of minutes.
And we'll be with you every step of the way. We're expecting communications with the crew throughout each of these different phases, confirmation of trunk separation, the claw opening, the claw separation, trunk separation. When the deorbit burn starts, it's going to be quite a long time that those forward bulkhead Dracos will fire. It is the longest burn of the entire flight, the 8.5-hour journey from undocking from the International Space Station to splashing down off the coast of Florida, 16.5 minutes. In this particular phasing, because of the short flight, that is a much longer burn with some of the longer phases when we're talking about 18 or 19 hours. It gets a lot shorter.
Sequence start.
There you go.
Copy.
So again, that was confirmation of the beginning of the deorbit sequence. Again, it involves a number of different items to occur. Right now, again, the Dragon is starting to maneuver itself, orient itself to prep for claw and trunk separation.
So the first step is the claw separation. Right now, we're in the preparation phase. This is an automatic sequence now that we're in the deorbit sequence, which just kicked off. It's an automatic sequence that starts with claw separation.
The claw is essentially the umbilical that routes power to the Dragon capsule. It's connected as part of the trunk. So we'll disconnect that first. Pop off the trunk, so to speak, and once that happens, the Dragon capsule is running exclusively on its own internal batteries.
Right. And there's plenty to spare too. Through the 6 months or so that the Dragon has been attached to the International Space Station, it really hasn't had to rely on its own power at all. The International Space Station has gigantic basketball court-sized solar arrays, in addition to a couple of new solar arrays that some of the Crew 2 astronauts themselves installed and deployed on the outside of the station, all providing power not only to the International Space Station, but to the Dragon while it's been docked. During the docked phase, the Dragon itself is connected via umbilical that provides communication and, of course, power to the vehicle. So the batteries were fully charged for the ride home, and then even upon separation, you can see, you were able to see through some of the views, the trunk itself has a series of solar arrays that are on one side of the trunk, able to provide a small amount of power throughout this phase of flight.
We are expecting to get confirmation of claw separation and then shortly after trunk separation.
And we did hear claw separation is confirmed. Dragon is now automatically going into the preparations for trunk separation.
Trunk itself. Separating it exposes the heat shield. Again, that is very necessary to protect the capsule from the high temperatures that it will be experiencing during re-entry.
Dragon, nominal trunk jettison.
It will be experiencing during...
Copy, nominal trunk
Dragon,
jettison.
nominal trunk.
It's a great way to start off the deorbit sequence. The trunk is off, and everything is going smoothly so far. Coming up next, we're going to be reorienting the Dragon and then starting up the deorbit burn.
Right now we are in a slew. So now that the Dragon has physically separated the trunk has with the forward bulkhead Dracos pointing straight at the velocity bar, or the V-bar, essentially the same direction that the Dragon is orbiting, to be prepared to fire the 4 bulkhead Dracos for 16.5 minutes. That sequence should be coming up here in about 2 minutes. We should be hearing the confirmation that the forward bulkhead Dracos are firing. And we'll show Dracos pointing straight at the velocity bar, or the V-bar, essentially the same direction that the Dragon is orbiting, to be prepared to fire the 4 bulkhead Dracos for 16.5 minutes. That sequence should be coming up here in about 2 minutes. We should be hearing the confirmation that the forward bulkhead Dracos are firing. And we'll monitor that, make sure that the deorbit burn is good and that we have a good burn. Once that burn is complete, Dragon is committed to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and splash down off the coast of Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, that's going to be the last time that we fire the forward bulkhead thrusters on the Dragon vehicle. And so, again, after we finish the deorbit burn, the nose cone, which is currently open right now, we're going to be closing that. It takes a couple of minutes to close, and then it latches shut. This protects the avionics and all of the items underneath the nose cone, but we'll latch that shut because we're not going to be firing the Dracos anymore. And then Dragon really will be on its trajectory towards the primary landing site off the coast of Pensacola.
And we're hearing confirmation from the flight control teams here in Hawthorne. The Dragon capsule is now switched its attitude. It's slewed into the deorbit position and is in the deorbit attitude. Now standing by for about a minute from now, where the Dragon itself will fire those 4 forward bulkhead Dracos, beginning the deorbit sequence, a very critical part of today's flight.
So yeah, we will be bringing continuous coverage all the way through splashdown and recovery of the crew. On screen right now is a view of Hawthorne Mission Control. Folks are starting to gather around, anticipating Crew 2's return, again, off the coast of Florida in under an hour now.
That's right. We are in the home stretch.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We're waiting for that.
So it is worth mentioning again that the Dragon vehicle itself
of deorbit burn. As always, we want to see the chat a go, no go for that deorbit burn. We're listening in for that final call here. Once that burn begins, this finalizes it that Crew 2 is definitely on their way home here tonight, landing down in less than 50 minutes from now, just off of Pensacola, Florida. If you're new, take a moment, engage that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. We want to see, can we hit 1K likes and 9,000 subscribers here tonight? They're both free to do, really do help us out. If we can hit 9K subscribers, 1,000 likes, we're going to do a giveaway here tonight for a few of you. So make sure you keep an eye out for that, and hopefully we'll hit those targets. Right now, we are expecting splashdown at 10:33 p.m. Listen in here for an update.
So we're just moments away. Again, the deorbit sequence has started right on time. So we had a confirmed claw separation and trunk separation. Dragon is now in an orientation with the forward bulkhead Dracos pointed where they need to be for this very critical burn, the deorbit burn. We've been waiting for this moment for quite some time. A lot of the departure burns that we've been following over the past couple of hours have been really in anticipation of this moment. We've been following weather all along the way. Because once we start this deorbit burn, really there's no going back. That means that the Dragon itself is committed to return back to Earth. And confirm that the deorbit burn has started. Initial checks show that the dynamics of that burn are looking pretty good. This is going to be a long burn, 16.5 minutes.
Deorbit burn has started. Let's go.
Within the last 10 minutes, a lot has happened. The Dragon has jettisoned its trunk and initiated the deorbit burn, which started now at about 6:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For these operations, Dragon and SpaceX closely coordinate with the United States Coast Guard to establish a 10 nautical mile safety zone to ensure public safety and for the safety of those involved in the recovery operations, as well as the crew on board their returning spacecraft. multiple notices are issued to the mariners in advance and during recovery operations, and the Coast Guard patrol boats are deployed to discourage boaters from entering the splashdown zones. We really want to stress to the public the need to respect this safety zone. Recovering a spacecraft from the water is a hazardous operation, and any other boats interfering increases the risk to astronauts in the capsule, the teams working to recover them from the water, and the safety of those that come too close. For the safety of the crew and your safety, we recommend that you sit back and watch, and we'll be bringing you the best possible coverage of our astronauts' homecoming.
And like I mentioned earlier, this Deorbit burn is the last time that those 4 forward Draco thrusters will fire. Dragon Endeavour has not yet entered Earth's atmosphere yet. This Deorbit burn is what will line the vehicle up and put it on its final trajectory to the landing site in the Gulf of Mexico, just off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. So right now, Shane, Megan, Aki, and Thomas, they're using their screens to keep tabs on the burn durations, Draco thruster firings, and trajectory details like entry angle, capsule perigee, and how much distance remaining until the deorbit burn is terminated. They have access to that with the displays in front of them. Again, Dragon is essentially flying itself, so all the crew has to do is stay strapped into their seats and keep tabs on things. So we're waiting to hear the call out for nominal burn to confirm completion of the deorbit burn for Dragon Endeavour. That's going to be coming up in about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. So still a bit longer to go on this deorbit burn.
That's right. We're coming up on about 3 minutes into the deorbit burn, and it is a very long burn, particularly with this phasing, which is the short trip from undocking to splashdown that doesn't include a sleep period or anything for the crew. They're really in it for the long haul. These forward bulkhead Dracos need to fire for about 16 and a half minutes. We've seen very similar profiles for some of the other missions. Crew 1 and I believe Crew 2 had a pretty similar profile, or not Crew 2, Demo 2 had a very similar profile, about roughly the same period of time from the time of undocking to the time of splashdown. So it seems to be a pretty popular profile. So we'll just sit back and make sure that the deorbit burn is continuing to look good, and so far teams are tracking that it is. We're about 4 minutes in at this point, which is into a 16.5-minute burn.
And on screen are our 4 astronauts on board Dragon. Left to right, ESA's Thomas Pesquet. He is the mission specialist. Then we have the pilot, Megan McArthur, and the commander, Shane Kimbrough, both from NASA. And then we have JAXA astronaut, Akihiko Hoshide, who is also the mission specialist. So again, they are both, they are all in their suits, strapped in, and eagerly waiting their return and a breath of fresh Earth air in about 45 minutes. Oh, excuse me, 45 minutes until splashdown, then about an hour until they can egress the vehicle.
Each of them has had a long journey on board the International Space Station. They've been in space for 199 days. 198 of those were attached to the International Space Station. Each of them have had very critical roles in some of the activities that have taken place on board. Thomas Pesquet just handed over command of the International Space Station. He was commander for just a little bit for the very beginning of Expedition 66. He took over command of the International Space Station from Aki Hoshide, who had it for quite some time during Expedition 65. He was the International Space Station commander. Of course, we heard that Shane Kimbrough is the commander for the Crew Dragon vehicle, and each of those 3 have conducted several spacewalks on board the International Space Station. There have been 4 spacewalks completed that each of them took part in. Thomas Pesquet taking part in all 4 of them. There was one spacewalk that was to set up one of the station's power systems with a modification kit in preparation for future solar arrays. That was done by Thomas Pesquet and Aki Hoshide, the first time that international astronauts not from the U.S. or Russia were part of a spacewalk, so they did make history there. And then, of course, Shane Kimbrough conducted 3 of those himself, so he has 9 spacewalks under his belt, and he has one of the all-time records for most amount of time in space. For any U.S. astronaut, he's sitting at 388 days of his career total over his 3 space flights.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the Launchpad. You're joining us for our live coverage of the SpaceX Crew 2 return here.
And it's into.
And we're keeping an eye on it here if Mission Control does any talking here. And if they do, we will patch them in, of course. Lots of people asking where tonight's mission's going to land. We're going to try to patch in a photo here and see if it's going to work for us in the way that we hope. See if that's there for you.
Everything
almost
works.
Not too bad. That is going to be where they are landing, just off of the coast of Pensacola. If we can bump this just a little bit over to the side for you guys to give you just a little bit of a better view. But that is where they're going to be landing. If you are in the Pensacola region, it is possible that you may be able to see this landing occur in person along the coastline. As they said, please do not get in your boats and go out there like we saw with DM2. This is a rocket recovery. This is still a very new vehicle. So please be smart about it. Stay home, watch it here, or head out to the Orange Beach, Pensacola Beach, and take a view there. We were down for the launch of Inspiration 4, hanging out on the pier, kind of the same distance away from there. We still had a really great sonic boom. Unfortunately, it was just a little too cloudy, but some people a few miles away did get to see it. So you don't have to be right there to be able to see this, but they are landing in Pensacola. If you're in Pensacola, flood the chat, say that you're there. We'd love to see your guys' photos or videos of the bag if you do hear it, so you can send those to us over on Twitter at @TLPN_official or through over on the Discord. Conan coming in hot, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Conan. Appreciate you supporting us on that level. We're coming up to 40 minutes until expected splashdown of Crew 2, the deorbit burn. Halfway through process here, 16-minute burn. There's no turning back. They are coming home.
This is awesome. Man, I never realized how long that deorbit burn is. I mean, I know this is a little bit longer than normal because of the configuration, but still, 16-minute deorbit burn. Those Draco thrusters or something else.
It's a long time. I mean, even Crew 1, which was a normal burn, was 12 minutes. That's still a long time. When you think about launch, only takes like 9.
I know.
So you're talking almost double for deorbiting here. Obviously, the difference of the power of those engines, with just those 4 Dracos under the nose cone being what's slowing Dragon down here tonight.
Yeah, but it's a fantastic vehicle. That's for sure. 2,300 of you guys out there. Great to see everybody tonight. Let me introduce myself because I don't know if I have recently. I'm Ben. I guess I'm a co-host over here at the Launchpad and here to help Zach out while he's all sickly. Isn't that right, Zach?
Oh, you're part of our team here. You're one of our co-hosts. We're not getting rid of you. We'll keep you around. You guys seem to like Ben. What do you think? Should we keep Ben? Let us know in the chat. But it's coming straight in from the south across the Gulf of Mexico. You are right there. So I see. I got that as I was saying it. But yeah, coming straight up from the Gulf of Mexico. So it is something that you're going to have to see. My mom just saw the entrance into our atmosphere. That's awesome, Lane. That's awesome. She got some photos. It would be great to send those in. If you guys are watching, you can send those in as well. Coming up at 43 minutes until expected splashdown. But keep in mind, those last 15-20 minutes are normally quite slow under drogue and parachute deploy as well. So keep in mind that it'll be moving quick for the next few minutes and then it will slow way down. But hopefully we will have some live views from some of the helicopters and jets out in the region. Hopefully see that chute deployment or shortly after. Always incredible to see those as the crew officially makes its way home, just 7 hours short of 200 days since they launched aboard Crew Dragon Endeavour.
You know, when Westminster Abbey makes a good point here, which is if you're going to keep me, you're going to have to feed me. So I'm going to need some tacos.
Oh boy, here come the tacos. Well, we'll see what we can do. Are we in Lake Mary, Florida, able to hear the sonic boom? I'm not sure where that is. Marcus might have an idea. Florida's going to be pretty hard to hear probably anything. Sonic boom, if you're along the Gulf of Mexico coast or in Mexico, you should be able to hear it. Central Mexico. Is the crew feeling gravity already? They're going to still be feeling the deorbit burn at this point. So not the gravity just yet. No, sonic booms about 5 minutes or so before the touchdown has occurred. Take a moment, share the stream, let people know we are coming up on that deorbit burn completing, as well as the splashdown at Crew 2. We don't want anyone to miss it. It's been delayed a few times, and we're excited that it is happening here tonight. Of course, we're going to keep patching in the main... Brownsville, Texas can see the trail. Oh, can you guys see it right there? If you guys can snap a photo, we would love to see what you guys are seeing. People asking, can we bring the live tracker back up? I don't think you'll see anything because it's still over. Now, it could be a little bit ahead of it, but it's not there yet. So I don't think you're seeing what you're seeing. That might be a plane. But if you are seeing stuff, take pictures, tweet it to us at @TLPN_official. We'll take a look at it, see what we can see, and try to confirm to you if what you are seeing is indeed the Crew Dragon as it returns home here. Deorbit burn has to complete. The nose cone still has to close as well. So there is still a few things before we would expect anyone to actually be able to see the capsule coming home here. But if you were in Australia, maybe you could see it doing some stuff in the atmosphere, possibly. Solar Wizzo, will hatch opening be as quick as Inspiration 4? We'll have to wait and see. It's a possibility. They seem pretty happy with their process of getting people in, so we'll wait and see for that. Could have been a shooting star. Yeah.
Like you said, if you guys do see anything, make sure to send it over in the Discord. I believe me and Zach will be hanging out there after the stream's on over. Playing a little bit of Minecraft, a little bit of KSB. Probably mostly KSB, because, we're space people. But yeah, we're going to have a great night. Yeah, so how long are we into that deorbit burn now? 10 minutes?
Ooh, we've got about 3 minutes left in that deorbit burn.
Got it. Man, that is a long burn.
It's a long burn. We'll patch mission control back in, wait for confirmation of that deorbit burn being completed here. If you're just joining us, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Is this the first time you're joining us? We'd love to hear if you've watched with us before, your first time here, and welcome you here to the launch pad. We believe space is better together, so engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch, landing, starbase coverage, all that fun stuff. You know how YouTube works. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's listen back into mission control as we await confirmation of a good 16-minute deorbit burn.
Motor function were to happen and it can't get out to the capsule in time, but its prime function, if the other boat is looking pretty good, is to go collect the parachutes.
Yes. So again, about 2 minutes.
2 minutes
for the end of the final burn. The Dragon and the crew have gone through a number of burns throughout today's downhill phase. Again, we are nearing the end of sort of the marathon here. So this must be exciting for the crew on board the Dragon as well, knowing that this is the last burn that they're going to feel, last burn that they're going to hear. And after this, it's really going to be a smooth sailing, so to speak, into the Atlantic Ocean, or into the Gulf of Mexico.
So the words we're waiting to hear right now are nominal deorbit burn. Those are very important words that'll be sent over to the crew. Right now, the nose cone has been opened to expose the 4 forward bulkhead Dracos that have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting with this deorbit burn, pointing straight at the velocity bar. It's a retro firing of the thrusters to slow the vehicle down and really ultimately make contact with the atmosphere. That's the point of this burn. But as long as we have a good burn, it'll be just a matter of a couple of minutes. It's a very quick sequence to close the nose cone. It's a very important function to close the nose cone. It protects the forward bulkhead Dracos. It protects the docking mechanism that's been used to keep Dragon attached to the International Space Station for 6 months. It protects some of the guidance and navigation equipment. Of course, this vehicle is reusable. We're seeing it now. This is a reused vehicle. It was used originally on the Demo 2 mission. So all critical functions that need to be protected before it slews to the position where the heat shield is pointed right towards the Earth and does the heavy lifting of protecting the capsule and, of course, more importantly, the crew inside from the 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit that's going to be experienced as the Dragon capsule enters the Earth.
Yeah, as part of the recovery operations after...
Dragon, deorbit burn complete, performance nominal. Nose cone closure has been initiated.
Copy all, good, deorbit burn.
That is the news that we were looking for, Andy. Nominal deorbit burn. That means that burn did its job. You see, immediately we're going into closing the nose cone. So now that it's done its job, the forward bulkhead Dracos will not be fired again. We're going to close the nose cone and protect some of those critical equipment and get the Dragon oriented in a position ready for entry.
Yeah, so it takes a couple of minutes for the nose cone to close. It doesn't just swing shut. And so it'll be closed, and then there'll be latches that will secure it into position. From there, we will slew the Dragon into his orientation to make sure that the heat shields are facing forward, so to speak. The heat shield will be what meets the Earth's atmosphere first. It'll absorb and dissipate all of that heat upon re-entry, and then we'll we'll go through the blackout period where we won't have comms from Dragon to ground or ground to Dragon. Then after that, we'll deploy our parachutes and land.
So the atmosphere is going to do a lot of the work here to slow the vehicle down. We're still close to orbital velocity. Of course, we're a little bit slower because we're dropping in altitude, and that is purposeful. The Dragon and the crew inside is now committed to enter the Earth's atmosphere and splash down off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. Dragon systems look good. The crew is monitoring every step of the way and checking in and saying that they are following closely. Everything's looking good on that end, and of course, the weather is cooperating, which is super essential. So we're about to enter into the atmosphere and slow down all the way down to 350 miles per hour. It's going to be a number of minutes for that procedure to take place. It takes about 7 minutes from the time that we enter into the Earth's atmosphere and lose the signal with the crew. So don't worry, that is normal. We expect a loss of signal for about 7 minutes. The communications can't get through the plasma that's engulfing the Dragon on its way in. But it should be about a 7-minute period. It's predicted, right? So there might be a little extra lag time in there, just depending on a series of events. But they'll be calling to the crew at the end of that anticipated period to check in and hear how that sequence went and make sure everything is good for the next series of automatic events, which is the deployment of the parachutes and eventual splashdown.
Yeah, it is important to note that prior to the deorbit sequence, we did hear communications from the crew to the core here. They were updated on timelines, so the crew onboard Dragon knows exactly what to expect too. Yep. They know when the blackout period is going to happen. They know when approximately the signal is going to be coming back, and we typically hear pings sometimes from Dragon to ground, and sometimes from ground to Dragon, waiting for the acquisition of signal. So there are no surprises. Every party that's supporting this mission is well aware of what is about to happen.
So it's going to be a number of minutes until we actually get into the entry sequence. Right now we're coming up at about 7 p.m. Pacific time. which is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's about roughly another 20 minutes until we actually get into that entry interface. So it's still some time. We are right now in a good position with the deorbit burn sequence initiated, and it puts Dragon in an orientation getting ready. We can see it slewing now to get ready for that entry prep. Really with the heat shield pointed towards the Earth. So we're in the final stretch here, Andy. It's really happening.
So we should get confirmation, if not already, that the nose cone has closed, and we are getting confirmation nose cone is closed. And so again, we are slewing to the right orientation, and during this for the next 19 minutes or so, Dragon's altitude is decreasing, and then once we get low enough and start building that friction, we will enter the blackout communication. So around 7:19 p.m. Pacific time is when we're expecting the blackout communications period.
So as we begin the second half of entry, Dragon is now beginning to flush nitrox into the cabin and continuing to top off Shane, Megan, Aki, and Tomas' suits with cool air. Again, this is what will allow the cabin temperature to remain comfortable while external temperatures reach 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat shield is pointed forward, leading the capsule to that landing site.
Yes, and we are targeting the primary site today, tonight, off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. So very exciting. Under 30 minutes, or just over 30 minutes. 7:33 p.m. Pacific time is our targeted splashdown time.
Right. We did hear that call up to the crew that we're still targeting that same exact site, even with slight shifts in some of the other events, particularly with the loss and acquisition of signal, that 7-minute blackout period that we were talking about. But all in all, we're still looking at that same time for splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico. So stay with us. We're going to continue to provide coverage through this very dynamic sequence. We will, even after splashdown, we're going to remain on air. We want to make sure that the crew is safe once they splash down off the Gulf of Mexico. So once they splash down, it takes less than an hour in nominal recovery procedures to go out to the boat, or to go out to the capsule, rather, and outfit it to get onto the Dragon nest, which is on the recovery ship, and bring it in for the hatch opening, the side hatch, and recovering the crew inside. We'll continue to provide coverage as each of the 4 astronauts egress or exit from the capsule itself. We hopefully will get some views of them, maybe pumping fists, or as long as they're feeling healthy, of course, we'll get some views of them on the recovery ship. And after that, we are looking forward to talking to some leadership from some of the respective agencies. We're expecting to have some representatives from NASA, the European Space Agency, and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency call in to provide some final comments now that we can declare a mission success. All coming up very soon, but first we have to pay attention, of course, on the mission itself, making sure that these crew members are about to return to homes, return back to Earth safely.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. You're watching our live coverage as we await for Crew 2 to return home. Deorbit burn complete. Nose cone is closed. Dragon will be flipping around to prepare for its re-entry here in less than 15 minutes from now. They are expecting that communication blackout. That's when Dragon will be burning through the atmosphere. On the right side of your screen, we're going to keep this on here. This is a live view tracker of where Dragon should be roughly in its trajectory. We are keeping a raw view here of that. We're going to turn on a circular ring around it, which is if you're within that ring, you may be able to see it. It's not guaranteed, but you may be able to. So keep that in mind while we pull that up here for you guys.
$9 from Conan James Evans.
Might be able to have a look out. Conan, $9 for 9Ks. I'm pretty sure that's what Ben probably was just saying.
It was.
Thank you so much, Conan. Appreciate it. 9K for 9K. Well, that was $9. You're short a couple zeros, but I appreciate it anyways.
No.
Thank you
Don't
so
be
much.
ungrateful, Zach. Come on.
We appreciate that support, Conan, here tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all of you that are new subscribers. We got to hit that 1K mark and we'll do a giveaway. So we'll keep an eye there for that. But coming in through the Gulf of Mexico here this evening, coming up towards Mexico on their final orbit burn. Splashdown expected in less than 30 minutes, 27 minutes from now, with that final deorbit re-entry occurring in about 10 minutes from now. That's when we will lose communication and telemetry. We will keep our live view this way with the tracker up through that time, and then we will transition full screen when we hope to be able to see shoots. Johnny Spacer, $9. Congrats on 9K. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys are absolutely nuts. I'm worried this 10K goal by the end of the year isn't going to be enough.
Don't get too ambitious here, Zach. 10K is a perfectly reasonable goal.
Rip Jack, one time does blackout. We are about 8 to 10 minutes away from the blackout starting. So we're going to patch in mission control here at this point to listen into that. Quick rundown through everything. If you haven't yet, take a moment, join the TLP Discord. It's totally free to do so. We're going to be hanging out after Splashdown and crew recovery in gaming comms, playing some Kerbal tonight, just debriefing what we saw here today, but you're welcome to jump in there anytime, totally free to do so. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, all those YouTube things. If you'd like to support what we do, you can do through super chats or becoming a YouTube or Patreon member by hitting that join button or patreon.com/thelaunchpad. You join those, you get access to our behind-the-scenes stuff over on Discord, discounts to the TLP shop and gear, and lots of other things there. It starts all at just $1.99 a month. It is a great support for us to be able to budget being down there for the orbital flight test of Starship. We're working on Starbase cams, Florida cams, cameras at launch sites around the world. So we're working on that, and we can only do that thanks to your guys' support. But we are coming here just a few minutes before entry, atmospheric entry interface, where we will have communication blackout as Crew 2 begins their journey home. 199 days, about 18 hours. They have been in orbit, ready to come home.
So exciting. Let's see how we go.
Of course, we turn on mission control. They're all nice and quiet, but you can see people starting to gather around at this exciting moment as they are waiting for Dragon to come home here. And then in just a couple of days, we hopefully will have Crew 3 launching a brand new crew capsule, Crew Dragon Endurance, launching for the first time. Christian, thank you for your super chat. Where will I be able to see it fly over? If you are in Mexico, central Mexico, kind of the panhandle of it, you'll see it there. Or if you're Pensacola, Gulf of Mexico, Florida coast, looking straight south for it. We'll punch in our camera here as our live tracker. As it gets a little closer to the coastline, you'll be able to see where it's tracking. But anywhere along that yellow line, you may be able to see the plasma re-entry streak come above you. If you're over by Pensacola, you may be able to see those high elevation shoots. Also, if you're along that yellow line, keep an ear out. You might be able to hear that boom boom of the sonic boom, double sonic boom that comes with Crew Dragon as it returns through the Earth's atmosphere here this evening.
They must be experiencing a very cool view right now as they're passing from the sunlit area into the darkness, and that plasma is going to be forming pretty soon. How far out are we, Zach?
We are about a couple minutes away from that re-entry atmospheric interface, and just 24 minutes away from splashdown. Catherine, $5 for a jumpy Xbox PlayStation controller. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Oh, that's an NES controller. Come on.
Is that? I wasn't a video game guy. I was drawing space shuttles when people were playing video games.
Well, actually, maybe it's a Super Nintendo. It's more of a Super Nintendo, but anyway.
Anyway, thank you.
Endeavour, SpaceX for entry brief.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Go for entry brief.
Shane, things are looking really good. No deltas to timeline. Vehicle is nominal. We're tracking no issues for entry. Entry targeting is also nominal. Note that you may see the landing site slightly off in the world view. That is expected and nominal due to the entry purge, and entry guidance will clean that up, so that's nominal. There's no deltas to weather. The recovery fast boats have been launched, and they're awaiting your arrival. I'll copy.
Great news all around. Thanks, Chris, and we copy all.
We copy. Thank you.
Some great news there. The fast boats have been deployed. Sounds like they're just slightly off on their trajectory, but nothing Dragon can't take control of during the re-entry.
Further affirmation that everything continues to look good. We did have a successful deorbit burn, and so we're just really in a waiting period right now before we begin that entry coming up in approximately 10 minutes when the crew themselves will enter into the Earth's atmosphere and the heat shield being pointed in the right direction. And the vehicle itself will slow down over the course of about 7 minutes until they get on the other side into the Earth's atmosphere, and we can talk to them again, slowing down from 17,000 miles an hour to about 350 miles an hour. That briefing was spectacular, Andy. It sounds like the weather is cooperating, and all of the recovery teams are in place. In fact, the fast boats that we were talking about earlier have already deployed. We are getting ready to bring these guys home.
Yeah, there are really no changes in what we were expecting, or what we heard prior to the deorbit sequence. So in that sense, everything was great leading up to the deorbit sequence, and everything remains great right now for crew splashdown and recovery. So again, we've been hearing nothing but good news all broadcasts. We are about 5 minutes away from slewing of the Dragon to orient it correctly, and then a few minutes after that from anticipated loss of signal. Again, that communications blackout period due to the plasma buildup around the Dragon capsule.
So a lot's going to happen. Let's go through the sequence of events here while we have a little bit of time as we're waiting for that slew, of course, and then, of course, the entry sequence itself. Once the Dragon slews or orients itself right in the precise position where the heat shield is pointed in the right direction, Andy, as you mentioned, we're going to enter into a period where we will lose the signal, and that's just because of the plasma that's building up on the outside of the spacecraft. Communications can't get through, so the plasma is building up because we are using the atmosphere itself to slow us down. We're going about 17,000 miles an hour now, and we need to slow down quite a bit eventually to get us to about 15 miles an hour. So the bulk of that will happen during the entry into Earth's atmosphere. It'll shave off from 17,000 miles an hour to about 350 miles an hour. From there will be a sequence of parachute deployments. First with the drogue chute. That'll perform the initial slowdown from 350 miles an hour to, I think it was, you said, about 120 miles an hour. And then from there, it's only a matter of seconds, about 40 seconds after drogue chute deploy, that those will be cut off, and the 4 main parachutes will deploy from the Dragon itself, slowing it down to about 15 miles an hour. We are aiming right on time for a glass-like, we've heard lake, I've heard the word pool, wave conditions out at Pensacola, Florida look absolutely pristine. So things are looking pretty good for us so far.
You're just joining us. Welcome. You're here just in time for the Crew 2 return. We're expecting confirmation of them atmospheric interface here pretty much any moment. They are coming in. If you are in Mexico City, they are going to be coming right over top of you here during this re-entry while they're coming through the atmosphere. So look up. You might be able to see a bright orange streak coming straight across you. That is Crew Dragon on its way home with its crew. Marcus, thank you so much for your super chat. Trying to help keep up on who can see it and who can't. You're an amazing MVP there. Amber, great work with the coverage tonight. Thank you so much, Amber. Official Bradley, thank you so much for your support there as well. You guys are amazing. But this is it. We're coming down here. Last 2 minutes. I can't believe it. 3,000 people are watching. Can we get to 1,000 likes? You guys are amazing. But we are coming down to the final 20 minutes of this mission. They are on final approach. You got it, Johnny Spacer. Coming through atmospheric reentry. And then they will be touching down just off the coast of Pensacola. We'll quickly pull that view right back up here. This is where they're going to be landing here tonight. So if you are anywhere near that Pensacola region, head on out to the coast. You got a few minutes, and you might be able to see them coming in over the horizon here as they approach the southwest coast of Mexico to begin their actual re-entry.
It's about to get really
hit
hot.
That subscribe button. You've been crushing that subscribe goal here tonight. We're so close to doing that giveaway here as well. And if you're new, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to welcome you here.
Here we go. It's about to get real hot up in here. You know, that's got to be probably one of the cooler parts of space flight. Is the re-entry.
SpaceX, our pilots are secure. The trains are tightened. Visors are down.
Visors are down.
Copy all. Thank you. Approximately 4 minutes, 30 seconds until anticipated comm blackout. We'll see you on the other side at 0326.
Copy 0326. Talk to you then.
4 minutes, 30 seconds takes us to 7:20, right on the money, 7:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. So that's the comm blackout that we were talking about. It's a 7-minute period where we're really in the atmosphere at that point. The heat shield is doing its job of dissipating the 3,500 degrees of heat that's surrounding the vehicle at that time and slowing the vehicle down to 350 miles an hour. So everything is happening right on cue. 7:20 p.m. is when we're expecting that loss of signal. It is an estimate, so there might be a variation of a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. We'll stand by for that 7-minute period. So we'll be looking at approximately 7:20 to 7:27.
Yeah, and again, as we get closer to the end of the blackout communications period, we typically hear the either Dragon or ground pinging each other to make sure that they do have signal acquisition. So again, 7 minutes, and we'll be with you the entire way for signal acquisition. Shortly after that, the drogue chutes will deploy. That happens at about 18,000 feet, and then at 6,500 feet, that's when the main chutes deploy. So we talked about deployment in terms of speed,
right?
But there are sensors on the Dragon vehicle that detect both velocity and pressure, and they know basically exactly when to deploy. So again, the Dragon vehicle, super intelligent and basically pilots itself. That's why even through this blackout period, the Dragon knows where it's at, it knows where it needs to go. So the crew is in good hands.
An automatic flight all the way. It really started about 8 hours ago. When the Dragon itself, more than 8 hours ago at this point, undocked from the International Space Station, the Zenith port, and backed up to about 220 meters, an automatic procedure, followed by an automatic fly around. In fact, the crew were really hands-off throughout that whole period. The commander, Shane Kimbrough, and pilot Megan McArthur were in their seats monitoring the entire procedure, while Thomas Pesquet was at the forward window that was pointed right at the International Space Station, taking pictures for about an hour and a half as it circled the International Space Station. We got awesome pictures of the International Space Station. I'm anticipating, I haven't seen them yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to them. All of that was automatic. And then, of course, the departure burns that got us to break away from the keep-out sphere and the approach ellipsoid that surround the International Space Station and get us into lower altitude, about 10 kilometers below the station, which we were at for quite some time, followed by the departure phase burn. We had a good trunk jettison, claw separation trunk jettison, and then, of course, the super important deorbit burn, all right on time. This has been a fantastic flight so far.
So we are just 25 minutes away from splashdown. And so, again, we are going to be entering that blackout communications period. But once we're on the other side, so to speak, of that, things happen very, very quickly. Drogue chutes deploy, main chutes deploy, and we're in the water just a few minutes later. And you mentioned, Gary, the WB-57 is up in the air. It is equipped with imaging technology that will be able to get pretty much the first views of the Dragon capsule on its return back to Earth. So we do expect to see that great footage here in a couple minutes as well.
We're about 30 seconds from the anticipated loss of signal. This is really the beginning of a 7-minute period where the crew themselves will be we're hearing from the Dragon teams here in Mission Control Hawthorne. They're starting to see some drag, so we are now making contact with the upper limits of the atmosphere right now. That's going to be slowing the vehicle down quite a bit. Now seconds away from the anticipated loss of signal.
Here we go. It's heating up.
If you are in the Mexico region, anywhere in that red circle,
so we're in the expected period now.
Take a moment and look up to the sky. You may be able to see this re-entry starting to occur.
Until about 7:27 p.m. Pacific, 10:27 p.m. Eastern. Now in the blackout and entry period, and we did hear some initial confirmation from the Dragon teams here. They're starting to see some drag, so we'll see the vehicle slow down here quite a bit.
During this re-entry phase, the team is going to be experiencing deceleration. Right now they're going through that, as well as when the parachutes deploy. The seats actually will rotate themselves to about 26 degrees to make sure that the crew is oriented properly for when the chutes deploy. So during the downhill phase, very similar G-forces experience, about 3.5 to maybe anywhere to like 4.5 Gs. Right. The crew is definitely going to be anticipating that, and that's definitely part of their training and knowledge.
You just got to imagine what it's like.
So we're standing by.
Right
we are in the blackout period right now. This blackout period expected to last an additional 6 or so minutes until we hear some of the first calls from the crew inside Dragon. Now slowing down from 17,000 miles an hour to about 350 miles an hour when we hear them on the other side of this blackout period. Again, we have a WB-57 high-altitude aircraft that has deployed with an imaging system on board to get those initial views using infrared cameras that are on board. So even though it is nighttime, as long as the vehicle is able to identify and track the vehicle, which with the infrared camera will be easy, just look for the hot thing that just came from the atmosphere. It'll be able to get those initial views and confirmation of the status of the vehicle, the very first confirmation, which is very critical to the teams monitoring the operations, and of course the recovery teams that are out in the Gulf right now. Fast boats have been deployed, so we got confirmation of that. The helicopters have landed on the Go Navigator recovery vessel, and the teams are on the vessel right now, getting ready to welcome the crew on board once the fast boats get out to the capsule and rig it with some of the equipment that's necessary to hoist it on board using the A-frame on the Go Navigator spacecraft. We are really in the critical period right now, just eagerly awaiting, I think all of the teams are, the comms at the end when we have an acquisition of signal from the crew and some of the first views of the spacecraft itself and confirmation of the next sequence of automatic events, which are the deployment of the parachutes.
Yeah, and the Earth's atmosphere certainly does make it easier for the WB-57 to spot the hot thing. It is excess of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so it should be able to spot it in the sky. There should be nothing else like it at this time. We're, again, a couple minutes away from starting to exit that phase where we're seeing a lot of plasma, and so we are expecting pings from Dragon or ground to try to get that acquisition of signal.
We are less than 10 minutes away from expected splashdown. We should be hearing that confirmation of starting.
So again, I mentioned
get communications
things are going to be happening very quickly.
Momentarily, we're going to keep an eye on that. Crew Dragon has now passed over Mexico, is now in the Gulf, coming over, getting ready for
listening very closely.
Splashdown. We are listening closely to hear
because as you're saying, Andy, a lot is going to happen. We're more than half
of the communication blackout period. Normally about 7 minutes for that capsule as it goes to re-enter through the atmosphere. You're just joining us, take a moment, smash the like and subscribe button. You're breaking all the records for our channel. So glad to have you here for this exciting night of Crew 2 coming home after 199 days at the International Space Station.
Yep, so let's wait and see that blackout period end, and let's hear something from these astronauts.
Hopefully it'll be a clear enough night, too, that we'll maybe get some live views of the drogues.
That'd be awesome.
And again, I say both of them at 7:29 because that's how fast that sequence is. It's about 8-second deployment from of confirmation of the drogue chutes themselves, and 40 seconds later, the main chutes are out. It's very, very quick.
So really, any minute now, we are expecting anticipated acquisition of signal to reconnect that communications line between the spacecraft and the folks here on the ground at Earth.
From this moment in time, about a minute left in the anticipated period. Again, it's not an exact science. There might be some variation. We might hear from them early. We might hear from them late. It just depends on a couple of different factors. But we're all eagerly at the edge of our seats right now, just standing by, waiting to hear from the crew. So far, things looking good. And we'll continue to track it as we enter the final moments of this blackout period. We're getting WB views.
That looks
first
like that
views
to
of
me.
Crew Dragon.
Look at that.
Look at that tail.
Here they come.
That's the 3,500 degrees.
Yes.
Look for the hot thing, right?
It is the hottest thing in the sky right now. That is such a, it's literally lighting up the
Endeavour,
sky.
SpaceX, come check.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Do we hear them?
There they are. Let's go. Hardest part's over.
Now it's just
and Dragon, we've got you. Expect automated parachute deployment, and we have you on visual.
Let's go, everybody. Let's get some hype in chat. This is awesome. We did it, guys.
There go the chutes. Where they're arming them, sounds like?
Yeah, arming.
Wonderful to hear from the crew on the other side of the blackout period. The WB-57 high-altitude aircraft providing that thermal imaging. We saw the tail of the entry of the vehicle itself. Absolutely
Dragon,
beautiful.
GPS converge. Expect nominal altitude for drogues.
Copy GPS, nominal altitude.
So again, nominal altitude for drogue deployment, that happens at about 18,000 feet. Again, good news after good news, Gary. Things are looking great for Crew 2 return.
I am loving this flight. That altitude expected 1 minute from now.
Here we go. How awesome is that camera? Oh my goodness.
What a great view. See, that's the nice thing with the night ones, is you can have these type of cameras out there during the day.
Right as anticipated, Andy.
Dragon, brace for drogue window.
Here we go, waiting for drogue deploy.
Come on.
The thermal imaging system on board the WB-57 is getting us great views of the capsule, but should give us equally good views of the drogue deployment, expected seconds from now.
Now, Dragon will do it when it knows
The capsule is traveling about 350 miles an hour, and the drogue chute's job is to slow it down to about 120.
Come on, keep track of it.
Yeah, it looks like it's losing it through the clouds, isn't it?
Drogues deployed.
Looks like a shoot,
confirmation.
Yep, we got drogue deploy.
That'll slow us down from 350 miles an hour to 120 miles an hour.
Dragon, video on 2 healthy drogues, descent rate nominal.
There we go.
Copy, great news.
So in about 30 seconds, the main chutes are going to come out. There are 4 of them, and they deploy at about 6,500 feet. Oh, Gary, look at this. This is an excellent view of the drogue parachutes.
There it is.
There's the
drogue separation.
There's the
main
4
chute
mains.
deploy. We'll wait for confirmation of 4 healthy mains.
Let's see them fill up here. Here we go.
There they open. They open. That looks like 3 good. Oh, we got 3 good ones. That's okay. Dragon can land on 3.
Yeah, it looks like we did lose a chute there, didn't we?
It does look like there's 1 less chute. Now it could still get itself.
1,000 meters.
We copy 1,000.
You really can't ask for anything better. We got confirmation of, you heard on the loops there, 4 healthy mains. Descent rate is nominal. That means we are expecting splashdown 3 minutes from now.
I don't know what they confirm is healthy, but that looks like 3 to me.
Looks like that 4th one might be filling up, though. But, you know, they know what they're talking about. And like you said, Dragon can descend on 3, so no big deal.
Visually, you can see one of the mains taking slightly longer to inflate.
Meters.
But the teams are tracking that as a nominal inflation rate, and the descent rate is as expected. We do have 4 healthy mains, and we are expecting an on-time splashdown.
All right, sounds like we're good.
600 meters.
That makes your heart drop for a second.
There we go. That 4th
there we
one
go.
Now filling up.
4 healthy mains. There we go, guys. Ooh, there you go.
Slight delay on that 4th one.
600 meters. This is a better shot of those 4 healthy main parachutes attached to the Dragon spacecraft Endeavour as it continues to descend.
400 meters.
400 meters.
The rate is as expected, 400 meters from splashdown.
There's a little bit of excitement to end it off there.
300 meters. That's always the... Come on.
200 meters braced.
200 meters.
Copy 200 and bracing.
Standing by for confirmation of splashdown.
Here we go. Come on.
Come on, touch that water.
Do 100 meters. 50 meters. There she comes. Those last.
Here we go.
Look how calm. There's the fast boats awaiting to approach. 10 meters. Getting a little bright. Splash.
Splashdown. There we go.
And we have splashdown. Oh, look at that.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look how hot that capsule is, though, compared to the ocean right now.
Copy, we heard the main.
Endeavour, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home to planet Earth.
Hey, Chris. It's great to be back to planet Earth. Thanks to the JAXA and JAXA teams. It was an honor to represent you and work with your family. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Let's go, everybody. Let's get some hype in chat. We did it, guys.
Confirmed at 7:33 p.m. Pacific, 10:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4 astronauts of Crew 2, Shane Kimbrough, Megan McArthur, Hoshide, and Thomas Pesquet, now safely returned to Earth. confirmation that the main parachutes have been cut, and you can see from the thermal imaging camera that the fast boats are already on their way to.
I'd like to point out there was some messages there in their internal conversations of just people congratulating the longest they've held their breath there. We'll have to go back and see what those are, but the fast boats will now approach Dragon to make sure she is still upright in the ocean. Make sure they safe the capsule for people to approach with the main recovery vessels. I know lots of new people are probably going to jump off. You're here for the splashdown. Thank you so much for joining us. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here live answering your questions for the next about hour as we await for the crew to come out of the capsule. So we're not going anywhere. But if you're new, engage that subscribe button. It helps us out so you never miss another SpaceX launch or any other launch. Hit the like button as well. We're going to do a giveaway in just a little bit, so make sure you stick around for that as well. We want to make sure we get you guys some stuff. You guys smash the like record and the subscriber number tonight, so we want to make sure we get that giveaway going here in just a few minutes. But what an incredible night. Re-entry of Crew Dragon Endeavour back after 199 days and about 17 hours in orbit. Sounded like crew was good and healthy after a splashdown here, right on time in the Gulf of Mexico, just off of the coast of Pensacola, Florida. So while we wait for the main boats to approach, as we prepare to do this giveaway, take a moment, send in your questions. Let's keep flooding the chat with congratulations as well. But we want your questions. Ben and I are here to answer them. Send them in the chat. Tag us at the launch pad, and we will answer those live. And of course, following tonight's stream, we'll be hanging out over in Gaming Comms on the Discord, pulling up some Kerbal, hanging out there as well, debriefing today. But thank you so much to all you new people that were joining in. If you don't go anywhere, you don't have to. We're not going. We're going to answer your questions. But let's keep listening in as those fast boats approach.
Well, Zach isn't going anywhere. Sorry, Zach. 1 second here.
Endeavour has you loud and clear, SpaceX.
We have you loud and clear as well. We stopped the boat. We have you much better now.
So some good comms checks on screen right now. That is the Dragon capsule in the background, upright and stable in the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a boat that is heading towards it. So at about L plus 30 minutes, the Dragon rigging is expected to complete. Again, rigging is where an employee as part of the recovery team will physically climb on top of Dragon and attach hardware necessary to hoist Dragon up and out of the water. Recovery ships also arrive at this time at L plus 38 minutes. That's when we're expecting to lift Dragon out of the water. L plus 40 minutes, Dragon will be on deck of the recovery vessel. And then at L plus 48 minutes, we are expecting Dragon hatch to open and the crew to egress after about 6 months in space.
That is the goal, to do this in under an hour, and it seems like the crew is right where they're supposed to be, right on time. We're getting thermal images of the fast boats out near the Crew Dragon Endeavour in the wonderfully smooth waters of the Gulf of Mexico, as predicted, which is fantastic. You can see there's 2 boats that are out towards the recovery vessel once we get a smoother lock on the vehicle itself. One of them collecting the parachutes, the other doing some of the rigging that you were talking about, Andy, which is super critical to the next series of steps.
Dragon, SpaceX is go for recovery personnel to approach. Expect personnel alongside momentarily.
Okay, copy that. We're ready.
And you
Alrighty,
heard it
guys.
there. They have cleared for the boats to approach. So a great sign there. I'm going to hang out, continuing answering your guys' questions. But what did you think of that, Ben, as you get ready to head out here for the night? Thoughts of today's re-entry?
This was a fantastic night. We saw that awesome Japanese launched earlier, and now we saw an amazing reentry. They got some awesome footage from it, and yeah, overall fantastic. Yeah, as Zach said, I'm heading out for the night, guys. I got some classes in the morning, and I can't be staying up that late, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight, and I appreciate Zach letting me hang out with you guys tonight. So yeah, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you guys next stream, hopefully.
Thanks, man. We will see you in a bit. Get some rest. I just got a text from someone in Corpus Christi that they saw Dragon through the re-entry there. So a successful re-entry that many people were able to see. Let us know in the chat if you were able to see it. We'd love to hear where that came from. A few questions I saw coming in the chat. Chariots of Fire, can you have a shout out? Hey, Chariots of Fire, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here, guys. George, what happens with the parachutes after they've been used? Great question. I'm sure they get reviewed and inspected to see how they performed. Especially this one, we had 3 really good shoots right off the bat. But then it looked like we had a 4th shoot that was a lot slower to open. So I'm sure they'll want to take a look at some of the cabling in the chute itself to see what was going on with that, and then they probably just get scrapped. I do not believe that the chutes are reusable, but I'd have to double check on that. If someone does have an answer for that, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments there. How long does it take for the capsule to cool down? Just a few minutes, and they'll allow the crew to approach, and then they'll have a recovery crew member actually climb aboard Dragon in just a few minutes after that to knock on the window, make sure everyone's good, and begin that recovery process. With Inspiration 4, we saw about 45 minutes from splashdown to the point that they were on board the ship. So very interesting to see there. Tegan, for Demo 1, they cut up the chutes and gave it to all the employees. That's awesome. That's a great idea. Solar, only 8 minutes from a deck and hatch open. That is quick. Yeah, they still got some work to do, but they are moving it very quickly. What kind of experience do they conduct in space? That is a huge question, Chris. But I'm glad that you asked it. There's a lot of things right now that they're studying. They're studying how to grow fruits and vegetables. This crew that came home here during their 199 days grew peppers on board and actually got to make tacos with those peppers that were grown completely in space from seed in soil on board the space station. So we're proving that we can grow things in space, which is amazing. They're testing human cell growth. Right now it's a big thing if people need to have nose replacements or something because of burns, or they need grafts on their skin. Well, we could actually take a sample of their DNA cellular structure, send it up to the station, quickly grow a skin graft and bring it back down and put it onto that person rather than having to use third party or fake grafts, and there's almost zero risk of it being rejected from the body because it's the same cells. So there's a big questions there. Can we grow hearts or lungs for people that need them using their DNA because the gravity's different? A lot of that stuff we can't do on Earth because the gravity's pulling down, but if we can grow it on the station and get things going up and down fast enough, be very interesting. Would be expensive, but definitely possible. Just watch for Pensacola. How awesome. That's so cool. West saw it in southeast Texas. Awesome to hear. SpaceX, the first billboard on Mars. Would be surprised. Grant, we saw it. Re-entered direct to the southwest. Looked like a shooting star that lasted for 30 seconds. We are in Fort Walton Beach. That is amazing, Grant. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. That's so exciting. I still yet to see a re-entry, but saw a launch. Mark says, South Mississippi saw re-entry, did not hear the sonic boom. Richard saw it from the coast of Tallahassee. Awesome. Burke also saw it, re-entry from home. So great to hear that so many of you were able to hear and see it this evening. Pretty sure my wife and I saw it, you think, from Fort Myers, Florida, southwest Florida on the Gulf. Possibly, if it was clear enough. Definitely possible that it's there. Yes, Marcus makes a very good point. Inspiration 4 was only in orbit for 3 days. This has been in orbit for 6 months. They do have to treat it much more carefully when they approach because there could be greater radiation or things left on the capsule. So a little bit slower because of that time there. Great point there. The sobs of Jeff getting louder? Well, maybe. Armando saw from South Texas. Amazing. You saw it right from your home. So cool. You heard some. South Louisiana saw it. Looked like a shooting star. Amazing. That's so cool that you guys saw it all over there. Great to hear. You can see those fast boats have approached the Dragon Capsule and are now, looks like, getting that crew member on board. They'll wait to bring the main ships closer, but let's patch in the mission control audio here. Hear what they are saying, but keep sending in your guys' questions. We'll continue to answer those, but you're watching our live coverage of Crew 2's return from the International Space Station.
A half ago on the recovery ship, tell me what the teams have been doing. We witnessed the back end of that with the recovery boats deployed. What's been happening in preparation from your perspective to get ready for this moment?
We saw the fast boats and the jet skis pull up next to us, pretty near us, as we waited for the capsule to re-enter the water. And I actually have a very good visual of the capsule right now. And since that time, there have been several people on the ship, just making sure that all of the hydraulics and everything are ready to go to lift Crew Dragon up into the nest that is on the back of the ship. And you'll see that as it pulls toward the platform that they will egress. They'll then move into medical checks. So all the team members here on the boat.
Dragon, SpaceX for status
a couple
update.
of flights tonight on the helicopters, and they're ready to jump in.
Go ahead for status update.
Protocol sweeps and unfired ordnance checks are nominal. Rigging is in progress. Approximately 5 minutes until capsule lift. Stand by for a PMC as our next step.
5 minutes before lift and standing by for PMC.
All right, we're hearing private medical conference coming up.
Megan, we can hold for a minute if you'd like, just to finish the set phone ops if you'd like.
Sounds good. I will call you back in 1 minute. Go ahead.
All right, and we're hearing those the crew sounding healthy from inside Crew Dragon Endeavour, walking through the final steps, getting a private medical conference. Leah, one more question before we let you go and witness some of the next series of events. Of course, we're going to be following all along the way, but after the crew enters into the Go Navigator vessel and does those medical checks, what are the next steps to get the crew home, either in Houston or in the European Space Agency?
It is an incredibly excellent process. So the crew members, after they've completed those medical checks, they will board a helicopter right here on the boat within just a couple of hours of splashing down. And once that takes off, they will board a NASA jet, which will take them back to Houston, back to their respective hometowns, especially those families that have been off. They began their mission on the International Space Station. Everything is moving on, and I wait to have it.
Leah Cheshire, NASA Communications, thank you for joining us and telling us a little bit about what's happening there at the recovery site. Best of luck to you.
And we said we were going to do a giveaway if we hit 9K subscribers and 1,000 likes, and you guys did it, and you guys have stuck around for the giveaway. So what we're going to do is in the chat, I'm going to put a sequence of emojis for it, and we're going to need you guys to send us back the same emojis in the reverse order. And if you do so, we're going to pick which one comes in first to win a free shirt and maybe some other stuff from the TLP Gear Shop, but definitely a free shirt from us here. So we're going to get some emojis going in the chat here, so keep an eye out. When you see these, you need to send us those emojis back in the opposite order, and that is how we're going to pick tonight's winner for a free TLP shirt that we're excited to get off to you guys. we're going to make the emojis something that, you know, makes sense for tonight.
So again, as expected, Crew Dragon Endeavour splashing down off the coast of Pensacola, Florida, right on time, 7:33 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. An incredible journey. We got a fly around of the International Space Station, documenting the exterior of the orbiting complex with digital photographs. The first time we've done that since 2018 with a Soyuz survey that was done. A lot of elements of the space station have been added since, so we'll be able to document that and check on the status of areas that can't normally be seen by some of the exterior cameras, as well as the robotic arm. You see, we are getting views from inside Capsule Endeavour. The crew really just poised, seated, with their seats rotated slightly upright. You can see they still have access to some of the panels.
SpaceX for status update.
Go ahead.
Boat's turned around and making its final approach to you. Just a couple hundred meters off. Just checking in to see if you're ready for that PMC.
So they're going to go into a medical briefing there with one of the crew that they've asked for. But this is what we are going to do. We are going to send 5 emojis in the chat here, and we need you guys to send them to us backwards to be able to qualify for the chance to win it. And then we're going to pick one at random of you guys that gets a t-shirt. And what we're going to do to, you know, top it off, we're going to give away a couple months of a VIP spectator membership as well. So I'll give you access to a little bit of our behind the scenes, and we'll go from there. So when you're ready, here come the emojis. Send them to us in backwards order. There's many ways you can copy paste, you can open your own emojis thing, lots of ways of doing it, but you have to send them in the backwards order, and I'm going to see who I see first gets them back. For those that are here that are on our team, you do not qualify, so Marcus and Ben, no, but you get a free t-shirt and a couple months of our VIP membership there. Send them backwards, so here we go, 3, 2, 1. There are the emojis. We're going to send them in the chat a few times. You got to send those backwards. Let us see who is first to send those in the right way. We got the rocket, the parachute, the earth, the heart, and the home. Because the crew parachuted back to earth because they love home. That's what we want to see. So we want to see home, heart, earth, parachute, and rocket. Those are the messages that we want to see in the chat here. Let it in. Let's see who the first one is here. To make it fair, Marcus, if you're here, can you tag the first person that you saw? Get that in there just to make it totally fair from my end. Oh, sorry, a few people's emojis not working. That's okay. We'll do more giveaways in the near future as well. We want to do these more and more. I'm going to go back here, see who we got. Marcus has sent me a photo. And the first one, Stealthor. You look like you were the first one to send it in. Thank you so much. We're going to what we're going to need you to do, Stealthor, is if you can send us a message on Twitter or on Discord with a picture of me saying congrats to you, something that shows you or proves that this is you. We will get that. We'll connect with you on how to do that. I don't think there's a way I can. Yeah, but it looks like Stealthor did get it there. Cool seeing some other people sending in some different houses. But congratulations there. George, I can't find them. How much are t-shirts? T-shirts, there's a few different prices. If you guys want to take a look at the shop, see what there is, take a moment and head out there. There's the link in the chat. We'd love to see you guys rocking your TLP gear wherever you live. Let's see here. Stealthor, can we... We'll keep an eye out for that message here. Stealthor, we're giving you like 5-10 minutes. If you can reach out, that'd be awesome. If not, we will pick another name here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. But let's listen in. You can see the main ship starting to approach to the Crew Dragon out in the ocean there. All right, great to see. Means they are progressing towards a capture here. Yeah, here she comes. You can see them quickly approaching. Great to see here. Sure, they're not going to need a bigger boat. It just fits. Yeah, we'll definitely find a way that's maybe a little smoother for the giveaways there. Where's the stupid parachute one? This is a good question. I didn't know there was a parachute one until this afternoon, so it's a good question. But thanks for participating there, guys. Stealthor, we'll keep an eye out for your message. I'm taking the feedback, guys. We will find out a better way of doing those giveaways. But you couldn't find the squash baby dolphin one? Oh my. No, we don't want to squish baby dolphins. But thank you so much for being here, guys. We're going to keep an eye on Crew Dragon as they get ready to approach and dock it up here for it.
Waiting for the recovery team to do their job, hoist the Dragon out of the water before they can egress the vehicle.
From this view inside Crew Dragon Endeavour, over on the right side, Megan McArthur, the pilot for the Crew 2 mission. You can see that little black antenna sticking out from her seat. She's on a satellite phone right now talking with the teams over in Mission Control Houston, getting confirmation that everyone's saying hi to the crew, checking in. Sounds like they're doing very well. If you remember back in the Demo 2 mission, it was a test mission for using Crew Dragon Endeavour, but really to verify that the SpaceX Crew Dragon was ready to carry crews as part of regular crew rotation missions to and from the International Space Station. As part of that, they used the satellite phone as one of the checks and measures to ensure that the crew had the capability to use the satellite phone to call the various teams and report statuses. It was really a precaution and one of the test objectives of the mission itself. Now continuing that here on Crew 2.
And now the recovery vessel is that much closer to the Dragon capsule.
Dragon, SpaceX for status update.
Go ahead, SpaceX.
Rigging is complete. We're approximately 5 minutes until capsule lift.
Copy.
So you can see the person that is on the capsule itself. That is the rigger. We just got confirmation that the rigging has been completed. Now they are essentially securing the Dragon capsule to all of the rigging hardware that was attached to safely lift it up and out of the water and onto the recovery vessel.
And we're seeing motion of the A-frame now, getting into position. The rigger making the final attachments necessary. If memory serves me right from previous recovery missions, the rigger will jump off the capsule into the water and make his way back into the recovery, or into one of the fast boats after he's done with this work.
Dragon, SpaceX, brace for capsule lift.
Copy, brace.
There he goes, as expected, jumped into the water. His job complete, attaching the all of the connection points to Crew Dragon Endeavour, making sure that it is stable as the A-frame itself, using hydraulic lifts, hoists Crew Dragon Endeavour out of the water onto that circular frame there you see at the base of the ship. That is the Dragon Nest.
And Garrett, we are we're slightly ahead of schedule. We were expecting Dragon lift to begin at L plus 38 minutes. It is L plus 30 minutes now. So things continuing to go smoothly as part of Crew 2's return and recovery.
Seem to get better and more efficient with each mission.
Dragon, welcome aboard the recovery vessel. Personnel are completing final checks. Stand by for translation to the egress platform.
Copy, glad to board. Ready for translation.
All right, with that, we have confirmation that Crew Dragon Endeavour is on the Dragon nest. It has been hoisted from the Gulf of Mexico and put onto the recovery ship. Where you saw the Dragon be gently placed is called the Dragon nest. That whole section of the ship will be translated or moved in further into the ship to allow access to the side hatch. That'll be the next very important, critical series of steps. There's personnel there that will work on the hatch to eventually open it. It'll be opened for the first time in 199 days. And we'll get the first glimpses of the crew inside. We should be able to witness the egress operations as well, each of the crew members getting out as long as the feeds permit. So we can welcome each of them inside. Okay.
So for those of you just joining us, the Dragon capsule has been lifted up and out of the water and is on the recovery vessel. We just saw a few shots of the crew on board the ship. What they're doing is securing the Dragon onto the ship to make sure it doesn't move as, again, it's being translated or moved towards the egress platform where the side hatch will be opened and the crew inside can egress the vehicle. The shot you see on screen right now is a view inside. It's a live shot of inside the capsule. On the left-hand side, that is Commander Shane Kimbrough, and to the right of him is pilot Megan McArthur. What you don't see on screen is to the right of Megan McArthur is Mission Specialist Thomas Pesquet. And to the left of Shane Kimbrough is Mission Specialist Akihiko. Hoshide. They've had about an 8-hour journey from undocking from the International Space Station, and now they're on the recovery vessel.
Stand by for translation to egress platform.
Copy, we're ready.
There's that translation. still getting views from inside Crew Dragon Endeavour. This is spectacular. We're less than 40 minutes after the Dragon itself splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico for the second time. Now, just again, less than 40 minutes later, the crew has been hoisted onto the recovery ship, and the Dragon nest itself has been translated over to the Egress platform. The next series of steps will be personnel on the recovery vessel that are specialized in opening up that side hatch. Will do so. We have medical doctors on board that will take care of them after that. They'll provide initial medical care and assessment, egressing the crew from outside the Dragon and putting them into medical facilities that are on board to conduct a series of initial checks before they are flown by helicopter back to shore. The recovery vessel takes quite a bit of time to get back to shore, so they'll be flown so they can get right on an aircraft and fly home within a very short period of time. Again, we're going to provide continuous coverage until all crew members have egressed the vehicle.
And wow, what an evening it has been. Thank you so much for being here with us for it. We're excited to pull up a live view from one of our viewers. Tobin was on his way out driving to find a spot in Pensacola and captured this really great video here of re-entry Crew Dragon coming in over by Pensacola. Great shot there. Thanks so much for getting us that view and being able to share that with everyone here tonight. We'll leave that up for a loop a little bit here as we await to see that door of Crew Dragon Endeavour open. But just look at that again, 45 minutes. And they have Dragon out of the water and door open. Let's see if they put a camera view. Maybe we get a live shot. You can see the crew waving. It doesn't look like there's any camera there tonight. But they are home. They'll now put on some of those support things. But what an evening. Crew Dragon home. Big shout out to Tobin. Say thanks, Tobin, in the chat. Amazing view there. Excited to hopefully get to see that one day in person. You can see one of the recovery crew members has boarded the capsule. It's doing a quick check with each of them. Now remember, these people have not experienced gravity for 199 days and about 18 hours. So they are going to need help out of the capsule. This is not Inspiration 4, where they'll be dancing out of the capsule here this evening. They'll be one at a time coming out, most likely on backboards or up into wheelchairs as they go for their first medical review. And then they will go for much more medical reviews back at base later tonight and into tomorrow. This is not the end of their day, unfortunately. It's probably just the beginning, as they'll have lots of reviews before they get to actually rest their head. But they'll get to see their families soon, which is very exciting as well. But another toasty marshmallow. You can see just the scale of the capsule there. Unfortunately, we don't get a view like this during the launch. I always wish the white room at pad 39A was a little more open like this. But for recovery, it's great to see here them handing out. Those are the footrests that you see. Those come off to help in aiding of the crew's departure from the capsule here this evening. We'll take them some time to readjust to the 0G. There's the camera rushing in to take some photos of the crew to welcome them home. Sure, we'll see that up on the SpaceX website later tonight or tomorrow. But lots of people coming in there. Maybe one of them will have a live camera that they'll patch in for us. There they are. There's the crew. Home safe and sound here this evening. Looks like they're full of energy still. Happy to be home, but you can definitely see they are sunk deep into their chair, experiencing that gravity for the first time in almost 6 months. Jeremy, yep, they have landed. They landed about 35-40 minutes ago, but take some time to recover the capsule. And now they are getting ready to have that crew disembark onto the recovery vessel. Solar, back then during the military jet flying years, we usually got handed a beer when landing. Interesting. Very interesting there. How long does it take them to get their legs back? It's different for each person based on their weight and their body structure. But we've heard that, in a few days you start to feel more stable. But it does take a little bit of time to get all your full muscle mass and everything back. Absolutely. Waiting for that crew to start to disembark. We'll see the first stretcher roll up to the capsule. A very smart capsule design makes it quite. They try to make it as easy as possible for the crew to disembark. Keep in mind, Dragon originally designed to hold 7 crew members, not just 4. So there is quite a bit of extra room there. And they're no longer floating around. They are at full weight of gravity, so they do have to make that kind of jump from their seat over to the door on a rocking boat. But it looked like the ocean was very calm here this evening, which is what they were hoping for. They are on a boat. That's why we're seeing a little bit of this rough choppiness on the video feeds, as if they do lose any of the signal from the main land. But as we continue to wait for the crew to disembark before we wrap up for the evening, send in any of those last-minute questions. We will answer those live as we wrap up here. We'll patch in their mission control audio, see if we hear any sights and sounds of the crew's arrival, or maybe quick statements from them. Normally pretty rare, but we'll see what we hear. But you're watching the live Crew 2 return from the International Space Station right here on the launch pad.
So if you are just joining us, left-hand side of the screen, that is a view from inside of the Dragon capsule. It has been recovered out of the water and is currently on the recovery vessel. The side hatch is open, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. The recovery team are continuing to do some more checkouts and procedures before we start to see the Crew 2 astronauts egress the Dragon capsule.
Still standing by for the egress of the 4 astronauts of Crew 2. Outside of Crew Dragon Endeavour, you can see stationed over to the left there is a stretcher, part of the nominal procedure. Once they are egressed from the vehicle, they'll be put into the stretcher and taken over to medical facilities. This is a standard precaution that's been exercised for each of the crew recovery missions so far. First crew member being egressed from Crew Dragon Endeavour. Got witness some applause there from some of the recovery personnel as well. It's hard to tell which crew member that was. And we got confirmation that was Megan McArthur. That was the pilot of the Crew 2 mission, the first crew member egressed from inside Crew Dragon Endeavour. Next out is Commander Shane Kimbrough, outside of Crew Dragon Endeavour, being translated over to the stretcher per nominal procedure. Waves, smiles on his face. A fantastic journey. 199 days in space, splashing down on time.
here comes the third member to egress the capsule. This is Hoshide. Some fist bumps and smiles from Aki. Again, after 199 days in space, return to Earth.
All crew members flashing the peace sign for Crew 2. I love it.
And that leaves one more member inside of Dragon. That is Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency. And here comes Thomas.
That's the ESA doc on board, checking in with Thomas Pesquet. There you go. Everybody flashing the Crew 2. Yes, I love it.
Yes.
Fist bumps, high fives
for posterity. So that is all 4 members of the Crew 2 team safely on a boat. I was going to say on land for a second, but they're on a boat, and they will head to all their respective places they need to go. But what a great recovery. We talked about how things were going to speed up and get more exciting, and that recovery was one of the fastest I've ever seen.
And just like that, as they're talking about, yeah, absolutely, an incredible recovery here. We'll just jump back so we have an image of the capsule on the screen there for you guys. But absolutely an incredible evening recovery of Crew 2 returning from the International Space Station after 2 years aboard. The crew successfully having splashed down just over an hour and a bit ago, and now having had a successful crew kind of departure from the capsule as well. They are now going to their respective medical teams for first reviews. But that is pretty much going to do it for us here this evening. We're going to take a few minutes to answer last questions as you guys send them in. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. You guys broke every record for our channel. Congratulations to Stealth, and thanks for reaching out on winning our giveaway here tonight. But wow, what an evening it has been. Again, thanks to Ben as well for being here with me to co-host tonight. We're going to be hanging out over in the Discord. Feel free to jump in. Gaming comms or live comms will be in there in just a few minutes following the stream here tonight. If you haven't yet, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another live space update, flash news update, our brand new weekly show that we're going to be launching. And of course, take a moment before you head out tonight, head on over to our Etsy shop, take a look at there, pick up a couple things, helps us out, but also gets you guys some really sweet gear. But what an incredible evening it has been. To all of our new members, thank you so much for joining. To our super chatters, thank you for supporting us in that way, and thank you guys for supporting us. Even just by watching that 5-10 second ad, you're helping support what we do to bring you guys the best possible coverage of absolutely everything space. But that is it Crew Dragon Endeavour is home, and the crew looked all well, safe, and sound as well. SpaceX just wrapping up their feed here for the evening inside that newly renovated Mission Control Room Center. I personally like the old design, but hey, this one I'm sure will grow on us too. But thank you so much for being here, everyone. Take a moment, like, subscribe, so you never miss one. Take a moment also and jump over to one of our most recent videos. We're launching a brand new weekly show with my friend Ian, where we talk about everything space and take your guys' live comments, questions, and we want to hear from you. What should we name the show? I'll drop the link to that video in the chat, but head on over, drop in the comments some name ideas, and your name just might be the name of a brand new show right here on the Launchpad. But for now, that is going to do it for us here at the Launchpad. Here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, and we believe that space is better together. So we invite all to be part of our crew and join our community by engaging the subscribe button, joining on Discord, and just being part of this exciting time of becoming a multi-planetary species. But for now, that's going to do it for us here at the Launchpad. Thanks for watching. This is Zach with the Launchpad signing off. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you hopefully in 2 days for Rocket Lab and the launch of Crew 3. Welcome home, Crew Dragon Endeavour, and welcome home, Crew 2. Oh, we're hearing something.
Kathy, if you can hear me, your initial thoughts
Psych.
Now that Crew 2 has safely returned to Earth after 199 days, and what it means to NASA as a space agency.
Well, I'm always amazed I can hold my breath for those last 10 minutes of reentry. You know, I mean, that is high drama right there. And like you mentioned several times, seeing those chutes come out is just an amazing thing. It is so nice to see that our SpaceX Crew 2 astronauts have safely splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Florida aboard the Crew Dragon Endeavour spacecraft. And we've now completed the agency's second long-duration commercial crew mission to the International Space Station. And it's been such a busy but exciting time aboard the station, and which is really our home in microgravity. You know, I'm so proud of the NASA and the SpaceX team for another successful return. They continue to show that amazing amount of dedication to each phase of the mission and just safely and methodically moving forward and conducting the mission. It's just amazing. You know, we originally were planning to launch our Crew 3 mission for a short overlap on station with Crew 2, but, you know, we ended up bringing Crew 2 home first. The team really carefully balanced each decision, and as we looked at which was the safer opportunity, we decided to bring the crew home first, given the weather conditions. And as you can see tonight, they were great. Like people said, it was like a lake out there, a very calm lake. So this was the best decision we could have made, and it was just great to see the crew exiting that spacecraft this evening. You know, as you folks have talked about, the mission set a record for the longest space flight by a U.S. crewed spacecraft. The crew members were actually in their 200th flight day, even though they did complete 199 full days in orbit, which surpassed the 168 days set by SpaceX's Crew 1 mission earlier this year. Not that any of those crew members count. The Crew 2 mission, you know, launched April 23rd on a Falcon 9 rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center, and then docked to the Harmony module's forward port of the space station on April 24th, nearly 24 hours after liftoff. You know, the Crew 2 mission has traveled over 84 million miles during the mission while their stay on orbit, and completed over 3,000 orbits around the Earth. And during their time on orbit, they have contributed to a host of science and maintenance activities, scientific investigations, technology demonstrations, and multiple public engagement efforts while on board the ISS vehicle. They've studied how gaseous flames behave in microgravity, and one of my favorites, as an ex-New Mexico person, grew hatch green chilies in the station's plant habitat facility and ate space tacos. They installed free-flying robotic assistants and even donned virtual reality goggles to test new methods of exercising in space, among many other scientific activities. And the astronauts took hundreds of pictures of Earth as part of the Crew Earth observation investigation, which was one of the longest running investigations aboard the space station, which contributes to tracking of natural disasters and changes to our home planet. And most importantly, they did that fly around on the way home to have us check out the state of the ISS one more time. They conducted 4 spacewalks to install, deploy, and otherwise prepare for installation of our new ISS rollout solar arrays. And they also saw the arrival of 7 spacecraft to the space station and 7 spacecraft departing during their 6-month stay. Station is the hub up there, our international hub. So this splashdown of Crew 2 comes just before the launch of NASA's SpaceX Crew 3 mission. The return looked spotless. I know folks will be wondering about that one lagging main parachute, and the team will be going off and looking at how the loading was on the chutes and understanding that behavior. It is behavior we've seen multiple times in other tests, and usually happens when the lines kind of bunch up together until the aero forces kind of open up and spread the chutes. And the thing that makes me feel a little bit more confident is that the loading and the deceleration of the spacecraft all looked nominal for us, which is good news. But we're making this an exciting week for us. And, one of the key things we'll be doing at our launch readiness review for the Crew 3 mission coming up, we'll be working through that. That launch readiness review is tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. And my OCOM colleagues would be kicking me under the desk right now if I didn't tell everybody. We'll be doing a post-launch readiness review press conference tomorrow evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So once again, thank you for watching. I can't tell you how excited I am to see all 4 of the crew members back on Earth, and I'm looking forward to launching another set of 4 this week. Thank you.
Well, we were going to wrap up there, but we didn't want to interrupt Kathy from sharing her thoughts from this evening. But that is officially going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you so much to those who joined us throughout all of today for our full coverage of Crew 2's return to Earth. Again, if you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like and subscribe button so you never miss another live video, hearing, anything space. And we will see you next time right back here on the Launchpad later this week for the launch of Crew 3, the Rocket Lab, Electron launch, and so much more. But for now, this is Zach with the Launchpad signing off. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for being here.